Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the long winding road at the very end of it, and it's been a long year, but here we are finally at the elite stage. A lot of teams have fallen and only a few remain here standing proud amongst everybody else. And to tell you that story is going to be us to begin with. The panelists here today, Illustrato, Jace, Jaeger, and Key. And we're going to be talking about all the exciting things happening here in the Valorant Game Changer Southeast Asia Series. I'm absolutely hyped up about it. We saw some amazing games yesterday. A lot of them ended up going, I'd say, fairly straightforward. A lot of them 2-0s. We did see one surprise towards the end, which did end up into 2-1. I'm going to straight up ask you guys, how you guys feeling today?
Pretty excited for the games we have coming up. Obviously, we see a couple of revenge battles happening for the players that lost yesterday. VLT, Asteria, Big Scythe, TC Arise, and Aricat. And Aricat, they're the ones that I'm actually looking at today. They're the ones that managed to pull that third map to come out. And so I'm hoping they do the best of that lower bracket. At the top, though, that's where a lot of excitement's happening as well. And, well, I can't wait to get into those as well. Yuki.
Yeah, I agree because I think that the seeding this time around, or at least the brackets that were drawn, were pretty fair in the sense that I think that if you seeded them 1 to 8, this would have been how the bracket would look like more or less. And because of that, day 2 will be even more competitive. I think that the teams are closer in terms of how they fare. And like Jaeger mentioned, Arca de Resta probably will be the one to proceed in the next series because they were really close to Ren as White, and you can see that at least for maybe team number 4 and number 5, they're pretty much even, or at least somewhere in the middle there. The teams are more evenly matched.
Well, you make a great point, but we've already touched on the teams a little bit here. Let's take a closer look at who exactly is playing here today. Saw yesterday. I mean, I definitely know that we saw a lot of 2-0s simply because, I don't know, maybe it was first day jitters or, skill disparity, but I'm expecting to see a lot more close competition here as we move on, especially when we have such a whopping prize pool on our hands here. Now, Jace, pretty significant, I'd say, very end of it all to cap off the year, 10,000 US dollars.
Yeah, it's pretty substantial, and that goes all the way down to 8th place as well. You get $1,000 down in 8th place, 1, 5, and 5th, and 6th, 4th, and 3rd. You get 2K, 3K respectively, and about 10K for that first place is so nice, as well as the 6x9 Nanoleaf panels, a controller, and the PSU Nanoleaf, of course, one of our sponsors and one of the amazing people that are supporting us and these women's journeys.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd probably just, if I would have just joined for the Nano Leaves panels themselves. I mean, I see them right behind Key and kind of making me low-key jealous, right? But let's go ahead and talk about what we've got on our hands here today. We saw a lot of great games yesterday, and we're going to see just about more. So let's break down and take a little bit of a look at the story that we have so far. Tournament bracket coming up for you guys right about now. We started off the day with a couple of 2-0s. That was Enigma Galaxy getting a 2-0 up against VLT Asteria, knocking them down to the lower bracket, followed by Mad Army knocking down Big Scythe to the lower bracket, where they will face off with each other. And at the lower half of that bracket as well, you're going to get TCA, that's Aricat Aresta, going up against TC Arise. Now, Key, I asked you yesterday, but tell me again, what matchups of today are you looking forward to the most?
I really want to see the NGX versus Mad Army matchup. I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again because this is probably the most exciting match of the day because of Mad Army being the latest wildcard entry, and Enigma Galaxy, of course, being the perennial 2nd place of FSL in the Open. So I want to see where Mad Army sits. I want to see if Enigma Galaxy actually have improved as well, and see how they can fare against Mad Army.
Yeah, I think this is really one of the biggest telltale signs of what we can expect from a team like Mad Army. Like, they have been playing great. They actually managed to take a series off of Alter Ego Celeste in another tournament, but I think in the whole premise of the circuit of VCT game changers, that's an entirely different concept in itself. And Jaeger just bringing that out, and who could be the next person to step up in the limelight here, whether it's going to be Mad Army, whether it's going to be Enigma Galaxy, it's at this point it's anyone's guess.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be able to really tell you who would be the team that stands up next, because Celeste was still looking crazy good yesterday. And I mean, we've got a recap already just to show you guys how they did yesterday and maybe give you an idea of why it's so difficult to decide who sits ahead of the rest.
Yeah, you put it there perfectly. So let's take a little bit of a look here at what we saw yesterday in the games prior to this one. Take a look.
Judge play coming in potentially by an area. That's gonna be one. We get a 2, 3,
Oh
4,
my.
and an 8. Because there are trades respectively for both sides of that team. And Neri wants that one
He
down.
gets a kill as well. It's all down to Pips. 1v4. She's gonna take 3 down.
Uses the satchel to reposition Shirazi for 1. Make it another.
Oh my
3.
God.
Make it a
Now last player remaining is going to be Baby TC with a shorty. She gets the 1. She gets the double.
She knows. She gets the head of
Come on, yes!
Not unless they peek all together, all 3 of them. It's going to be that
Oh,
situation.
oh.
But that she knows he towards that lane, but Axel gets
But thankfully they've got Crescents right now watching this with a judge. At the same time, Baby TC still with her operator. She's starting to turn this into her realm. You got 3 kills already, and then the 4th. Is it gonna be the ace? Yes, it is.
enough though. That's gonna be 1 share kill for Casper. I for the trade. Beautiful spray transfer once more. Is it gonna be enough though? Oh, Spazzers into Classic, and that's gonna. Let's see.
Either I
Ooh,
died.
that's 1 make it.
Oh!
Transfer for King.
And right now needs to isolate these angles, tries to push it aggressively, and thankfully enough, she's able to dodge out the sheriff shot, but
That lockdown is gonna push the rest of Arrogant Arresta out. It's gonna be a defuse, gonna be committed, fully committed in fact. Legit Queen is gonna get the defuse, commit this already to the half. Yoki tries to spray through, she's holding it! Froze! Well, fake sometimes, but Kohibi is gonna take Yoki down. They do take her down finally, and the plant is gonna go down and might be denied by Mochi X. And she can, if she can save time here, she might be able to survive. And she gets the headshot onto Yoki.
back from NGS is gonna be so great because she's stuck. She needs to be able to get a kill towards Caperdyte here, who's hugging that corner, but it's gonna be Caperdyte getting that.
Lot of clutch moments and a lot of highlights that we just showed for you guys, just proving the point that yesterday was a lot, and today is going to be even more of the same thing here. And you're joining us again on the panel. We just took a look at what happened yesterday, but let's go ahead and break down what's going to be happening here today. We've got lower bracket matchups coming up for you guys first, and that's going to be the first thing that we're going to be talking about. It's going to be none other than Big Scythe versus VLT Ariesta. VLT Asteria. It's going to be, I think, a more closer game here today. They both got knocked down to the lower bracket here, Jaeger, and very convincingly so. Both of them went 0-2. One team, though, I do think still has the upper advantage here, and that's going to be Asteria. They have been a very strong performing team. They always stick it to teams like Nigma Galaxy in the past. And I feel like coming into this one, Big Scythe might be looking like a little bit of an underdog.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I want to disagree just because no one wants everyone to be just in agreeing manner with each other. But it is what it is. When you see the stats that they've put forward from Big, it's just not been as impressive. And you still have all those X factors coming in for VLT Asteria. You've got Muffin Loops doing her thing. You've got they've won like every pistol round they went up against Nigma in, which does give them a huge advantage as well. So seeing that again later today is going to make things very difficult for Big Scythe.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be taking a look at their roster right now. And a little bit of a closer look at who these players are exactly. We got Gwen, Crollo, Chasso, Hisoka, and of course Crescents now to round out that lineup. And they performed, I'd say, a little bit underwhelmingly so in their previous game, and they're trying to make it a little bit of a comeback here. What do you think are these key to successes that maybe Big Scythe are looking for to make it up in this current game here, Keith?
I think that a big showing from Crollo and Crescents, of course, was the key to their winning before, at least in the overtime tournament. Gwen also steps up quite a bit, so it really just depends whether we can see their players all perform at the same time, because you really need a team effort to win against a team like Asteria, who we've seen have such good utility usage, but it just didn't work out for them yesterday. But I think that Asteria are still going to be a force to be reckoned with, so Big Scythe have to be ready for those setups, for those executes from these girls that you see on the screen right now.
Yeah, you mentioned VLT Asteria, and yeah, there are our sole representative from South Asia coming all the way in. So it's a very long way that they have come, and they have been phenomenal this entire tournament. Never really clinching that first place, but always coming very close here. And I'm expecting a lot from them here today. They have been, an absolutely exciting team to watch. One of the teams that you can always rely on to deliver those highlight moments, to deliver those really amazing clutches. Last time we saw them, a couple of opens ago, Shrey with the double aces. You look at them and see these guys, these girls, they have such star power on their roster. They can hit those shots, but Jaeger, sometimes tactically speaking, they don't always hit the mark.
Yeah, we saw them fall a little bit short yesterday. Muffin Loop especially. If Muffin Loop isn't performing, they have big trouble on their team. You're absolutely right. Shrey did an amazing job because Muffin Loop wasn't hitting the mark like she normally does. Perhaps today she's going to be more fired up and maybe vying to fight back into this game. So hopefully we get to see that because, they've got their coach with them. They've got Akali, their new coach. You saw their interviews yesterday. They've got all new tech. They've got all new locations. They have everything they need to clinch those victories that, they had reasons for not finding before. So I don't see why they shouldn't do well today.
Yeah, one of the big things is, the lingering question is how long has their new coach, how much time have they had with their new coach to be able to really make a robust tactical lineup that can match up to the mechanical abilities that they have been showing? Because we know that they have the ability in spades, but as to whether they convert those into wins, that's really the big question here, Key.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can actually execute today, because we saw a little bit of that in the wildcards, like I mentioned. They execute into the site, but I think that, especially going against Enigma Galaxy yesterday, that was they're the unstoppable force and immovable object that you're talking about, right? And Enigma Galaxy, of course, being the immovable object, best on defense, stood their ground against Asteria. But I think against Big Scythe, they're definitely the slightly more favored one. And I think that it really will boil down to the execution, the gunplay, and of course, if Big Scythe have been doing their research against Asteria.
Well, you've heard it from us here on the panel, but in the meantime, we are going to be throwing it to the players themselves. We did have a moment to speak with the players right before this tournament started and have a little bit of a chat with them and see what exactly they think is up and, how are they feeling with this tournament. So here's a little bit of an interview that we got prepared for you guys. Come check it out.
Hello, my name is Bella and my in-game name is Hisoka. My role in the team is Sentinel, or sometimes I play controller.
Hello guys, my name is Chacha and I'm from Big Side and my in-game name is Big Gwen. I'm the duelist of my team and I'm from Indonesia. So my background FPS game is CSGO. I used to be at the same team with Hisoka on CSGO, and then also I play Fortnite for FPS, and for other games I think I play Dota a lot, but I'm into FPS more than MOBA.
For my FPS experience, I used to play CSGO professionally with Chacha, Gwen.
I'm one of the original roster of the team, and also Krollo and Chase You. We three are the original roster from FSL Open 1, yeah. And we never got into the playoffs, maybe because of we always change our roster, like every open we change our roster, and then yeah, we have to build our chemistry again and then make some strats, yeah. That's the challenge part.
I joined the team and then we started Scream map. We practice a lot, but somehow our results are not there yet. Our results are really not getting better. Our FSL Open 5 was in the slums, as well as our FSL Open 4. But for FSL Open 6, we decided to change one of the original rosters from Big Side, and we also decided to call in Crescents to fill in the spot as our in-game leader as well, and it works out well. For a month or so, we practice like every day, harsh practice, 10 hours a day to catch up to everything, and more like to catch up to the bigger teams in the FSL circuit. And then for FSL Open 6, we can see that the results are getting better gradually.
I think the difficulty of the training is I have to match up my time to training because I'm on semester 5 on my college, and then yeah, I got a lot of assignments in my university, and then I have to grind my skills on Valorant. Yeah.
For me, I also work. I practice and play Valorant, and then I also have my college as well. So it's just kind of hard to balance all of it, but I don't know, because of COVID, college is like online class, so I don't have to really spend my time at the campus, so I can do it at home. So I think it saves more time as well. And for my job, I can do it from home as well, like casting and stuff. But practice, I think I don't really see practice as a burden, so I don't really mind doing it for long hours. I just somehow manage all of it.
I think the team to look out for is SLS and also Met Army because both of the teams really strong. They got really good individual skills, and I have to training so hard to beat them.
I think Galaxy Racer also is one of the team that we should look out for, because I don't know, somehow when we meet them, we always like give too much respect when in terms of gameplay. So I think we should be more like free on how we play and stuff, because I think Galaxy Racer also has very good gameplay and very good team play and comms as well, because we can see it from their movement as well and how they trade each other at the team play.
Is Enery from Alter Ego Celeste because her aim is really sharp, and then her game sense is really strong, and she's one of the best player on FSL. Yeah, I think she's my rival.
I think the player to look out for in FSL Elite, in my opinion, is I think Ginny, which just joined Met Army, because I know she has a lot of experience in FPS, and I also have so much respect for her. I sometimes cast her games, and how she brings her team as an in-game leader is very good as well. I hope there are more teams to join the FSL Secret or the FSL tournament, the VCT Game Changers tournament later in 2022. And I hope the tournament or the VCT Game Changer is growing bigger and bigger. And of course, I really hope maybe later in the future we can really have a LAN event. It will be so cool, and I will be so happy to play on LAN because I have never played on LAN.
I want more ladies team to join the FSL tournament for the next year, 2022, and also I hope Riot can make the women's tournament more bigger, like VCT Berlin for only women, so all the region can meet at the same country like that, so we can do LAN. I want to say to all the supporters from Indonesia, please support my team, Big Scythe, and also there's another team, Indonesia, Alter Ego Celeste. And I want you guys to wish best of luck for my team, Big Scythe, so we can do our best on the tournament.
To all my fans and supporters, I want to say thank you so much for always supporting us. And of course, untuk para teman-teman semua yang ada di Indonesia, kami dari Big Scythe ingin berterima kasih karena kalian terus ngedukung kita. Kalian sering banget nonton kita di stream, kalian sering kasih komen-komen yang benar-benar membangun mental kita, kalian juga sering kasih komentar-komentar yang bikin cara main kita tuh lebih pede gitu. Jadi bener-bener thank you banget buat teman-teman semua. Dan tentunya aku mau minta tolong untuk teman-teman semua, terus support kita, terus kawal kita sampai menuju Grand Final mungkin ya nanti di FSL Elite. We hope kita bisa ke Grand Final, kita bisa rebut title juara 1 against all the odds. Gua harap kita juga bisa lah dengan semua latihan yang udah kita kerjakan, dengan semua effort yang udah kita kasih, kita harap kita bisa membanggakan Indonesia dan kita bisa membanggakan kalian semua yang udah dukung kita. Sekali lagi, thank you so much guys.
So just to talk a little bit more about some of the amazing women that we have in VCT, Game Changers. Hisoka, by the way, if you guys don't know, is actually a VCT caster for Indonesia, who is also just amazing. All right. They know their stuff, and the fact that they can play at this level and still do all of that stuff, it's just beyond me. A lot of amazing talent here, and I'm so honored that we can all share together the opportunity to be able to talk about it
Yeah.
and witness it. So now, Yeah.
I found it really exciting that they're both still in college and competing and doing all this at the same time, and they have to balance their KDAs and their GPAs. So that's pretty impressive.
I couldn't balance an Excel sheet, man. I just I don't know. It's beyond me. But Jaeger, a little bit of a smile on your face. Anything on your mind on this one?
No, just your little crush there, just let it through. I don't mind. I mean, it's not obvious in any way, shape, or form. But you do you, Ilu.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And yeah, so what we're gonna do right now is move on out of the land of denial and into the land of the realistic, now into the next game. So let's go ahead and talk about the current matchup. As we saw, we have VLT Asteria going up against none other than Big Scythe here, and let's take a look at our expectations here. Okay, before that, actually, we do have a graphic to show you guys. We got Crollo and Shrey. They're going head to head here. A little bit of a difference in terms of the ACS, and both of these players, absolutely phenomenal players. It's just that Shrey has always just been a beast every time she steps into the ring.
Yeah, I mean, she's been on that duelist every single time as well, and she was doing a really good job. Fragging IGL is a difficult job to pull, but she pulls it off over and over again, and she is the closest one to Muffin Loops in terms of stats.
I think she's been flexing as well now. Shrey would sometimes play the controller as well. I think the stats for Crollo was just yesterday's game, so I don't think this is indicative of her regular performance. If she's really performing, I think she could give, of course, Asteria a big scare, because Crollo, we've seen her clutch time and time again, and she's actually a very, very strong player.
Yeah, and these individual players, sure, amazing, but we do have to talk about the bigger picture here. We're talking about the maps in just a second, but I want to do a little bit of a breakdown and see how these things are going to be going. They don't exactly have the best matchup in terms of, how they play together. VLT Asteria, they like to go on those bigger maps. They will fight you on Haven, one of the maps that Big Scythe is also fairly comfortable on as well. And I just don't think that they line up in terms of where they want to play. So this best of 3 could actually prove to be a little bit surprise. They haven't really played each other before, Key, if I'm not mistaken, and this is really one of the first times that Big Scythe will go up against Asteria, who has been a...
I think we lost him for a little bit. But yeah, they haven't really met each other, because when Big Scythe and Asteria get into the playoffs, typically one of them doesn't. And then we just don't really get to see their matchups. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. Like what we saw from Asteria yesterday, that we saw a lot of that potential for them to be able to box players in. They were playing super passively. I'm sure they've reflected on that by now. We won't be making that mistakes again. Big Scythe, I mean, they go into this one of the most underrated teams, and I think it is just based on how things have gone for them in the past. So yeah, we saw some great plays. Like every now and then Yamori would just pop off. She was in these 1v4s, 1v3s, but it was always in those situations where she got those kills. And maybe they shouldn't be in those situations as much as they were. They had very difficult times with clutches, and we were missing some point-blank sprays and stuff. So really just not firing on all cylinders like you hope they would be. But hopefully today we'll see a little bit more from Big Scythe.
I agree, but let's take a look at where we're going to be heading off. We're going to look at the maps very, very soon here. Anything you expect coming into this one? We are going to be heading into the map select actually right now. We're going to be heading into Ascent, Split, and Bind. So first things first, Ascent, like literally the most comfortable map for Big Scythe. And, Key, I can't stress how important it is that they win this first game.
Yeah, definitely. And Ascent, you really want to win on your comfort map pick, and especially since the last map is Bind. It seems like, I think we talked about this before in a previous series, that Bind seems to be that unloved child, which is not really pickable, but not bannable for a lot of the teams. So typically it becomes that last map, so the decider map. So you don't want to be going to that decider, you want to go to that decider at the very least by winning your map pick.
Oh yeah, map pick is definitely the name of the game here. I mean, it comes down to the wire in these tournaments, and like I said earlier on, they don't exactly have the best matchup here. So I'm really looking forward to this. I actually think that this works in favor of Big Scythe. Having said
Yeah.
that, even though I'd say this map pick does favor Big Scythe, Jaeger, do you think that this skews it enough that they can take a win in this best of three?
It's definitely possible because if you're looking at the stats from VLT Asteria, when it comes to Bind, they have not won a single game on Bind. They played it 4 times, they lost every single time. Big Scythe, yeah, I mean they've struggled a little bit on these maps, but on Ascent, they've done really well. They've got an 11 out of 14 of their games. Their bad map is Split, and you can see that VLT Asteria have picked that straight up against them. But Big Scythe, they get Ascent, they get Bind. That is 2 maps that they've proven, well, they've proven themselves on Ascent. Bind, I'm not sure so much yet, but at least they've proven themselves more there than VLT Asteria has. So maybe we see a Big Scythe win in a best of 3 here.
Yeah, I'm hoping this could be one of the series that really kicks it off at the very start of the day. We're hoping that this goes like the extra mile, the long distance. I mean, we've seen it. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, no, I'm definitely not mistaken. VLT Asteria are one of the teams that always take us into overtime. So whenever you see an Asteria game, most likely one of them will be in an overtime game. I'm expecting no less from them today. So hoping for that as we go into it. So I do want to get into your predictions right before we go into agent select here. Your thoughts. I'll start with you, Jace, and then pick it up right after Key.
Okay. I did say there's a big chance there for Big Scythe after seeing the map picks, but I am still leaning towards VLT just because they could definitely take that win on Ascent, and then the second map is their map pick and a map that we've seen Big Scythe don't do very well in. So VLT Asteria, I'd say it's possible for a 2-0.
I think Big Scythe are gonna come up big today actually, and I think that Big Scythe are gonna take it 2-0 just because of the map picks. So they get Ascent first, and Split on the second map they're starting on defense. So I think that just might give them an edge to get the clean 2-0 against Asteria.
That's a great prediction, Key, and I'm going to be right on that train with you. I think it's going to be a 2-0. Big Scythe will come up big here today and absolutely smite away the competition. That is, well, you know, I actually really think it's going to be a 2-1, but I do think it's going to be a close one at the end of the day here. So we'll be going to agent select very, very shortly. I'm very much excited. What I am looking forward to again is the individual picks that these girls will bring here onto the roster right now. Asteria, I'm looking forward to seeing what Sheree will pull out. We know that she is very flexible with her roles. Like, you know, you look at her and she's like, yeah, you put her on the jet, she'll get 2 aces back to back. But, you know, she can pull back. She can play that Reyna. She can play literally anything and still be a dominant force and a very large presence on the server. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of teams, not just in VCT Game Changer, but all around the world, especially in APAC at least, that, you know, a lot of these duelists are migrating to these roles like initiators. Key, do you think we're seeing a similar sort of migration here for these players here in VCT?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can see that a lot of the captains are starting to move towards the initiator/controller role because they can at least call from behind and let the rest of their teammates do the dueling, do the frags while they think about what to do next. I think that helps a lot, and the flexibility, of course, adds another depth to their agent selection. They can flex whenever they need, if the map needs it, or maybe even if the matchup needs it.
There's very few IGLs that I can think of right now that do play on that duelist, like, you know, even on Ment, it's like Shazam, and then like everybody else. I mean, I know Trix does it here. She does play the jet. I think she's going back to her original role. So I do want to see. I know that Sheree isn't actually the IGL. They're kind of like a democracy, if I'm not mistaken, that they don't really have a hardcore IGL who makes all the calls. They sort of really feel each other out and the rounds. And that might be a little bit of a good thing and a bad thing. But what I'm hoping here, Jace, is that this playstyle has been a little bit more refined now that they've had time to work with a coach very closely for the past couple of months, I'd say.
Yeah, having that coach watching everything from behind, that can be super helpful. I mean, they played Ascent yesterday, and they should know what they did wrong. And so they were already doing a lot of things right. It's just a couple of key things that make that big difference. That's why there was such a dominant scoreline But it's not like every round was a stomp coming in from Nigma. So the coach can be like, right, sit you guys down. Let's look at these. Let's see what's gone wrong here. You guys are being too passive. You weren't being more aggressive enough. And so, yeah, they can easily fix this.
You're 100% right, and I think those fixable problems are manifesting a little bit more, a little bit easier to manage for Asteria. A lot of growth that we see from them. But before we talk about that any further, look at the lineup here. Trey on the Killjoy. That is a little bit of a curveball. That is not something that I was expecting to see here today. On the other side, we got Gwen, who is playing on that KO. We saw it, massive success. PTC, who did play it in the recent APAC LCQ on Ascent as well. Maybe getting faint echoes of that here today, Key.
Hey, Shrey doesn't have a skill called Curveball. That's Phoenix. But typically we see Shrey on a Phoenix. Now we see her on a
Fair
Killjoy.
play.
We'll see. Oh, the KO actually gets locked in here for Gwen. So that's actually really interesting because I think that Big Scythe have something exciting for us in terms of their lineup.
Yeah, I do think that the KO brings a lot on the table, and I think people are starting to pick it up more and more. It's really one of the ways that you can, for sure, shut down a defensive hold on the site, especially when you've got like that Killjoy Sova combination onto a site that might be a little bit too difficult to break through if you don't have the proper utility on that entry. Any last thoughts before we go into the game about this lineup here, Jace?
I think it looks pretty standard coming in for VLT Asteria. I think that's I'm still leaning heavily on VLT Asteria, especially now that I've seen those picks come in. That KO pick, yeah, it might throw a spanner in the works, but not really, not in my opinion. KO is just not as viable, I think, yet as people tend to believe. So yeah, I'm still leaning on VLT Asteria. What about you, Key?
I just like the double initiator comp, even though it's not a Sky, but I think that the KO might be really effective here.
I'm going to actually beg to differ. KO, I think it's proved its worth in the past few tournaments that we've seen, and I think it's going to double up right now on this one. But enough about us, enough from us. This has been the panel, but we're going to pass it off all to the caster. So guys on the desk, take it away.
Welcome,
Hello,
Zia.
hello. Hi there, Key. How were you in towards that panel? But you know what? We're going to head on to the game straight in a bit. Welcome once again, everyone, to the VCT Game Changers. See, day number 2 for FSL Elite. And right now we're going to start it off. I mean, you guys are basically slightly divided in towards that table. But you know what? I will be, flaunting my predictions right here. It's going to be a 2-1. And still in favor of VLT Asteria. But right now we're just gonna see it. Key, what do you think about this?
Well, the one doing dividing here is gonna be the Astra once she gets her ultimate. But they're gonna try to go into A side right now. It looks like Big Side have
Alright, okay,
clear.
so we are going to see them that they did start it off in towards A main, not yet going in for that push. That's gonna be Alir coming in, will be getting that openings here, destroy the turret as well. So that's gonna be one head for the side of Hisoka here, really doing well and gave the way to basically plant that spike. So also really added delayed push here is those swarm grenades and utilities that's coming in from Big Side. So look at this now. With that drone, was able to get some amount of info as well as the recon was denied by Big Side. But right now, Chasu gets Muffin Lupriti for the trade, but still, so far it's looking pretty good as Big Side takes the first round.
I think it's such a great execute from them. The slow push into the explosion into the site was amazing. I think that also having the controller, having Crescents actually lurk from mid-link and actually go through the middle ensures that they have a flank and they get to get the jump on the rest of Asteria. I think that Big Side, we can see right now they're ready. That execute into the side was really pretty flawless. They got into the side without any losses. They got 2 members off of Asteria, and then they just secured around only losing 1 member from their team.
And that was basically, it's basically the common strategy whenever you're trying to take a side. Like, wait for the Lear coming in from Hisoka, then go for the entry, as well as with Chasu basically just using those swarm grenades to delay any push. So right now they're going in towards market. Beautiful coming from Chasu for Muffin Loop here with the trade. But then look at this. Body's on the floor, but Chasu's gonna take TK. Let's see if it's gonna be into light as Gwen will be taking for her own. This could... Oh, actually, it's not a flawless fight as Hiska was taken as well, but still works really favor for the side of Big Scythe.
Yeah, and they also had the time to plant the spike, so that's 300 extra cards. Even after the round finishes, if you get to plant the spike, that's extra cards for your team. So if you're an attacker, it's actually really good to get that spike down no matter what. And I think that them building this economy on the side of Big Scythe is going to be really good for them in the rounds moving forward. Look at their economy, it's really healthy right now. Moving into this bonus round, even if they lose this, they'll have so much in the next round for any gun of their choice.
So right now, technically bonus round for Big Scythe right here, since they did have their guns from the previous one, and really at least to say for the side of Muffin Loop was able to just take down that drone, just so that that recon bot rather, just so that and no other information is to be gathered here. So right now, again with the Leer here, if you notice that they really just use their utilities very firstly. Meow 16k and Muffin Loop gets a kill of their own to be traded by Yamori, but look at this. Asteria did start to pop off just a bit, 3-1 rather in terms of body count, but who is going to take the upper hand? Yes, Yamori with that 3k and has better weaponry as well, but the question is, look at the position that they have right now, Key. They can go for that intended crossfire. Let's see, Meow 16k is also in the vicinity and just waits for the right time to peek. And that pixel peek, really more than enough for Meow 16k to get the first point. Not really wanting to really separate the gap from between them. So what about this replay?
Yeah, a little bit of a blunder here. Britzy runs out of bullets as she's trying to get Krollo down. So Yamori down. Oh, who is Krollo? Just to be very clear. And I think that Big Scythe did enough damage to Asteria. Look at this situation right now. There's 2 Spectres on the side of Asteria, and on the side of Big Scythe, they have 5 rifles right now, and still quite a bit of economy in their hands.
Indeed, there, to say the least. And right now we are going to see another intel to be given towards Krollo, to say the least. So it's really nice because you basically have an idea on how are you going to place yourself in towards the map, and that's going to be suppressed right here. A little bit of a peek, but that's going to be a successful take by Casper. It's going to be 2k though. No, to be shut down by Gwen. Right now Yamori as well with the kill of her own, and Shrey in towards that off cap. Actually on the marketplace gets Crescents. I think, to say the least, Chasu already knows, Shrey rather already knows where Krollo and Chasu are at. So let's just see if it's gonna work between them. A flank rather from Muffin Loop is gonna happen here towards B main, which is basically a nice way to sandwich out your enemy. And speaking of, is this going to be the strat? No! Chasu denies Muffin Loop any further. That maybe a double peek game would go for this. But let's see if it works out.
That's good. 1v1 right now, and it looks like Chase U is going to be the one to win it all. 3-1 right now, and Big Scythe take it around back and reset Asteria.
And looking at the quick replay right here, so it was really good job for Muffin to get that flank just so that they can really corner out the members of Big Scythe. But this is where Chasu was able to isolate the fights here. Just went in towards both, then took a jiggle peek before actually taking Shrey down and off guard. So that was actually a good way for them to basically secure the round.
Yeah, and it's really great, right? Like your first gun round, you win as well. That really just stops Asteria in their tracks because you win the first 2 rounds, they win the third, and then you basically just reset on the 4th. And this is looking really good for Big Scythe right now because they have the guns. And taking a look at Asteria, they only have classics right now. They can't even buy pistols.
Can't even buy pistols, and right now it's really looking a bit really on a pinch, to say the least, for the side of Asteria, because normally you'd see them either really close or a rally of games, or just plain them dominating the first few rounds. But right now Big Scythe is basically coming off big right now here, as will be detected by Recon. Casper was able to take it down with the classic. Take note of that. Yumori as well to have a trade of his own. Hisoka really doing good wonders, and that smoke kill as well from Yumori. Really quick reflexes. Recon Bolt will detect Muffin Loop. It is kind of a question as to why both of them would stay in a very difficult position, because basically you only have one way out. It's either above or forward, and that position alone, just and with the help of the recon dart coming in from Krollo, basically, you know, made you a panini back there. But here, 4-1, big Scythe really making it big, but I'm still not, you know, I'm still not disregarding VLT in here because again, they know they're the type of team that okay, they may have a slight slow, you know, progression in terms of rounds,
Yeah.
but if they do switch or swap in towards the half, maybe that's where the magic begins.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen Asteria on the attacking side, their utility usage is on point, and this is going to be the round that counts on the defensive side, right? Muffin Loop with the operator here, but she's not going to find anyone because she's actually in A lobby, and it's actually Big Scythe that gets the opening frag. They're going for mid control this time around. Casper is going to get a kill for on though. She takes control over the spike, so this is looking pretty dicey now for Big Scythe because they don't have control over the spike right now.
Question is, can they actually, you know, be able to contain, you know, this position where the spike is at? And you know what, Casper's really doing it wonders. Britzy also takes one presence for the trade. 2-3. So at least in terms of position, they can go for crossfires for the side of Asteria. But right now, for Big Scythe, they can go for that double peak potential, unless of course they, you know, place themselves in a position wherein it could be collateral. So both is that was actually a nice deny from Meow 16k for the recon ball. Another one beautiful 4k for Casper to basically contain that out with their second point.
Yeah, that recon bolt denial is key to getting those Casper getting those kills because they had no information as to who was actually close, and they heard the shot from afar, so they probably guessed that okay, maybe no one's near. You can look at Crescents here. She was still throwing the paranoia at the person who shot the recon bolt, and they did not expect Casper to be so close and immediately just cleans things up with a 4k.
Cleaning things up with a 4k indeed. And right now, it's just, well, basically, Big Scythe here has a very nice lead, definitely. But again, Asteria, you did mention this from the panel, they are a force to be reckoned with. So right now, it's just basically them trying to really get their foot down. And look at this though, Big Scythe not really gonna go down without a fight here, but a lot of utilities are being thrown right now. Is this gonna be a triple peak? Yes, indeed, but Gwen is gonna secure that before that even happens. So this is gonna be a spike down. Hunter's Fury though to deny it, and basically get that Hunter's Fury up and coming straight as well with a bit of a kill of her own.
Yeah, just buying so much time for the defenders, so they do get kills, and now it's actually a 4v3 because of that spike denial, and they have a lot of time to get into the site and really find these picks because this operator is going to be able to mark an angle. Oh, she gets a shot through the wall!
Wall shot, beautifully done by Muffin Loop over there, and as well as the other teammates who really took advantage of that, because the moment Muffin Loop basically got that kill, it was also a good opportunity for the other members to really push forward. And with that being said, that's going to be the third point of our game.
I think she just flicked basically and then just wanted to try her luck, and then she got the shot onto whoever is low there. Chase You was really low, and look at this, she just flicks, and actually I think it might have been a moving shot too, and getting that collateral through the wall was actually really lucky.
Indeed. Like, what are the odds, right, of the position to where you are and take that shot? And you know, it's just Muffin Loop really having that reflexes up and coming. So this time we will potentially see, you know, an A fiasco, or you know, just try to split up in towards this map. Because if you notice that the spike's still at B, so maybe they would want to try to control the side first. But Muffin Loop takes one beautiful smoke to basically deny anyone further, and a quick reposition to just, you know, prevent yourself from being cornered down.
Yeah, I like how Casper from across the map just pops that smoke to get the jet back to safety, because the wine is typically sort of like a do or die situation, right? Because once you're in there, you can basically get flushed out by shock darts, paranoia, everything, even nano swarms. But the placement of the smoke just really allows Muffin Loop to get back out.
Indeed, and that's also basically the good thing of having an Astra. You have a more control, to say the least, of one side to another, even though you're physically not there. So looking at this, that's gonna be recon and shock dart as well. Bridge, he takes one kill. Is it gonna be another? Because they're all pumped up together. But right now, Britzy takes a 3K, and that's going to secure it basically to tie it off with the points. So this is what we're starting to pull off right now, to say the least, for Asteria. Muffin Loop takes that first skill. Look at how she basically covers it up, but Britzy, the control with utilities in this side is basically one of the things that they really have to look out for. They need to, in my opinion, to say the least, they need to prevent themselves from being grouped together if they do not want this scheme to happen over and over.
Yeah, definitely. And it was an eco round for them, so I think that they were really just trying their luck. But that shock dart was absolutely lethal, and it's going to be another buy round for Big Scythe. So this is where they need to be climbing back, because Asteria are starting to run away with this. Their economy. They won 3 rounds in a row. And just taking a look at their economy right now, like, even if they lose this round, right, Muffin Loop can just buy an op comfortably. And then some.
Comfortably, and then some. So this is still a tie, so anything can still happen here, because again, Big Scythe had the upper hand in the very first few rounds. So maybe if they go in with the aggression that they had with the first 4 rounds that they've won, maybe that's one of the key. But this time they are eyeing out for a site, so it kind of depends, because what's happening here with the previous round that VLT was to win is just that it became reactive, to say the least, with the utilities at play.
Yeah, definitely, and they're using the Suppression Blade here to look for more information, but they decide against going to the A site after seeing those star placements. So one thing about Asteria is when she takes her stars back, it takes a while to put it elsewhere. So once you see all the stars on one side, I think that you have to be a bit careful, and that's exactly what Big Scythe are doing. They might just run into Muffin Loop's operator, though. Hisoka takes the first shot, and now they're just scrambling. They don't know where to go.
Muffin Loop is really imposing a threat here at this point with that operator, and it as you mentioned, it took them aback. Notice how Krollo just went in towards A and his comrades as well, just so that they can get a better picture of how they're gonna control this map. So look at this, Astra with that pull coming in, they were able to get inside, but double peek. Ooh, that's a beautiful trade coming in from Trey. Crescents as well with a trade of his own, but 3 on 3. They only have 25 seconds to work with here. Hunter's Spear is forced to be used just so that he can get at least, some kind of damage out, but not gonna hit anyone. Britzy in the process, however, was able to take down one in towards short before this garage doors close. And Crescents, with only a slimmer of health to work with, they really need to make things work. Shock dart moments coming in from Britzy, really known for that. So let's see how this is gonna go.
Not hitting Crescents right now. 14 HP left on Britzy. She's normally really lethal with the shock darts, but doesn't land it this time. Crescents with a headshot. 14 HP left on this Omen, but still gets a kill. Meow 16k cleans things up though. So it's gonna be another round for Asteria. Yet another round. That's 4 in a row for them right now.
Very nice spray transfer coming from Meow 16K from earlier, basically, having one shot to another. So this is going to be the replay of that. So both of them had the trades of their own, and this is the deciding factor of it. Crescents with 1, but to end it off with Meow 16K from the generator to the box from below. Really nice reflexes coming in. And with that, you did mention that was 4 consecutive wins from Asteria. This is the Asteria that I basically know, because they are known to have these moments wherein they have a slow start but then bounces back. So it is a question of consistency for the side of Asteria, and for the side of Big Scythe, it's a matter of finding that aggression that they initially had. So here we're seeing a bit of a shakeup in terms of strategy, because they're utilizing Catwalk once more.
Yeah, and I think that they're just trying to look for a strategy that could possibly work. It is a bit worrying for them, and they have the short range guns, which is why they want to go through this, but the pull in allows Shrey to get a double kill. They do take Shrey down eventually though, and they are going to get the spike onto the site. No one on A site right now to stop this planned spike. I think they might be able to fight on their own terms right now with these Spectres. Chase U does get detected with the Owl drone, and it's now all up to Gwen. Doesn't really have a great gun for this 1v3, only has a Spectre. Gets a Good flash, takes one down before getting taken down by Muffin Loop. Ever so deadly with that operator.
Really, again, time and time again. And of course, looking at this, before Shrey actually takes it down, beautiful collateral there as she takes two before being taken down. Casper here just utilizes that fact the moment she was detected here for the side of Chasu. And yes, you did mention beautiful flash, but Muffin Loop goes for the cleanup. It means that they are up on their feet. They're basically proactive in here. So that is going to call for a pause for the side of Big Scythe, which is, again, we have mentioned this time and time again that pauses are quite crucial and vital as well, especially if you know that your opposing team is having the momentum in their hands. So you'd want to tone it down, and you'd like to basically turn the tables around here. So Key, I'm gonna ask you, they utilized catwalk, they tried A and B, but what do you think is another strategy that they can pull up on their sleeves here?
I think the most successful strat that I've seen so far from them is mid push, and the reason why I said that is because the Omen can actually smoke back mid, and if Muffin Loop is actually in the mid, they can easily flush her out, because especially two smokes from the Omen can easily push out the Jet, and I think you want to go from the mid because you don't want to be challenging, or you don't want to be guessing all the time where Muffin Loop is, and if you can't challenge that operator on the A or B main sites, I think the mid is actually the best one to go for.
Mid actually, I will agree with you on that, because we did notice in towards the previous round wherein Big Scythe had that win. Hisoka started off with the Lear, the same with Crescent's smokes in towards the market, and then they just went ham in towards that site. So I guess they will be holding that back for later, because they are eyeing out for B, but right now with a little bit of an off angle, Chasu was able to take down Muffin Loop, who has been a threat towards them for the past remaining rounds.
Yeah, that was a bit of an ego peak from her. She pushed all the way out mid without any protection from any of her teammates, and now it's going to be a free B site for Big Side. They're going to plant the spike in the corner, and it looks like Asteria are going to have to come in here, because it's going to be difficult to go against this 5v3 right now. Britzy is going to get a kill onto Hisoka, though. Great headshot from her, and looks like they're going to start using the utility. Great push from Crescents, recognizing that the Owl Drone is alone there, but Casper is there for the trade. Headshot onto Crescents. They're going to try to pull into the site, and 2v3 right now, trying to go in. Gets one kill, but gets immediately traded by Chase U, who cleans things up, and Big Side finally get a round back on the board. That timeout paid off, I guess.
Last round before the
Did
switch.
pay off, but we can still see the possibility of Big Scythe going in for that 6-6 scoreline. And yeah, you mentioned it, because the aggression from not necessarily mid, but they were able to take down Muffin Loop, and it's starting to see really evidently how Muffin Loop is vital for the side of Asteria. And here in towards what weapons I'm seeing, Muffin Loop again takes an operator for the team. Also had a different site to watch in, but maybe as predicted, you did say that they are gonna go for that mid play, since that had a higher chance of success, at least for the previous rounds concerned. So Casper also on the way, may try to isolate the fights, but is also in a difficult position.
You have to be fast, though. There's a double flank already pushing out. Meow 16K and Muffin Loop already swung out there. Misses the blades, so Meow 16K finishes the job, but Hisoka immediately trades Meow 16K. Britzy peeking out from short kills, Chase U, but there's immediate trade on Muffin Loop. Britzy with a 3K already. Hisoka gets the head, and it's now a 1v2 situation. The spike is all the way up high mid. It's looking pretty difficult for Hisoka right now.
Indeed, so we are going to focus on how Hisoka is going to really play this out. This is a 2v1 scenario, so if she is able to, just separate the fights here, or create a play wherein she can put herself in a position favorable for her, then this could be a potential clutch. But right now she's going in towards A.
Yeah,
that's basically a Q.
Yeah, they know where she is. And I think that once she gets this plan down, I think she'll be okay. So there's the pull coming out. Hisoka doesn't get pulled in. There's the... Oh, they're actually committing the lockdown. They really want to secure this round. It is the last round after all. So I think that using that is fine. Hisoka gets one, gets the second. Uses miss. She has to get this kill before the lockdown box, and Hisoka gets the clutch!
clutch play from Nanoleaf right there, Key. And of course, that was beautiful for the side of Hisoka, and Big Scythe was able to tie out the scoreline. So technically a reset right here. Let's have a quick replay. And so the members were able to diminish everything down by 2-1. And this is the beauty about it. Hisoka was able to take down Shrey, but this is the unfortunate thing. Casper could have waited until Hisoka was detained, and Hisoka was not having any of that and just went for the push and took Casper down. And you know, that was amazing.
Yeah, and it's going to be a 6-6 half. I do think that Casper had a bit of an indecision there. She wanted to peek first, but once she saw this miss, she actually hid and then repeat. So I think that indecision kind of like made it awkward for her, and that's how Hisoka actually got the round. I completely agree with you. If Casper just hid, waited for the lockdown to pop, I think she would have gotten it.
Exactly. So right now we are going to head on to the pistol of the second half right here, and Recon Bolt denied, but still Chasu was detected. Let's see if double peaks are to happen. Very nice reflexes from Muffin Loop, taking down Crescents into the corner, but the other members of Big Scythe though are already marching their way towards mid. They could be sandwiched here. P, what do you think?
I love this aggression from Big Scythe. They're immediately on this A site. The plant is about to go down, but there's already 4 members surrounding the site, so they're gonna let the plant go down. Gwen takes the first kill. Shock Dart coming out. Britzy gets caught with the utility out, and it's gonna be all down to Shrey, who gets 1 kill with a Nano Swarms, but Gwen with a 4K. Really aggressive play from Big Scythe here.
Nicely done by Big Scythe. Was able to be proactive in towards the map. Notice how they were able to fast rotate from B to mid, took down the members as well. Look at this replay right here, a bit of a peek, and Gwen is already pre-aimed, make it another with that beautiful swing. And Frey just couldn't do as much here because ran out of ammo in the process, and the other members were just there and already know where Shrey was at. So that was really a good pistol for the side of Big Scythe.
Yeah, and pistol rounds is really important here because, as they mentioned in the panel, Asteria have been winning the pistol rounds, right? Big Scythe winning these 2 pistol rounds is going to really be the difference maker when it comes to the wire. And Big, with the Spectres here, sprays 3 down Crescents, and Chase U just decimates Asteria. And there's going to be Muffin Loop getting 1 kill. However, gets his 2nd kill as well before Chasey finally takes her down, but Britzy is there for the trade. It's becoming really expensive for Big Scythe, but I don't see Britzy getting a clutch here, especially with that Frenzy.
Indeed, because better weaponry can go for this, and besides, they can go for that double peak for. And the fact that Britzy is also in a low health here, how could this be possible, right? So that is going to be a win for Big Scythe here in towards to getting their 8th point. Look at the quick replay, beautiful spray transfer coming in for both Chasu and Crescents, who's been double peeking them up for the trade. Then again, in towards the remaining rounds, I was about to say that it could have been a quick turnaround of events, but the fact that Big Scythe is also mobile in terms of responding to these trades, to these refrags, are also really good for them. 8-6 now on the scoreline, and we're just going to see how Asteria is going to do this, because right now they're quite separated in towards our map.
Yeah, I think that their execution hasn't been really there for me. I feel like maybe it's the lack of that flash, right? Or the lack of that Leer. Their lineup doesn't have that. They don't have Leer, they don't have flash from a KO. It's becoming really difficult to get to the sites because they only have the Sova as an initiator. No flashes to get in. They're relying on Muffin Loop and Meow 16K to get those opening duels. And if they're not falling, if they're not happening, then they're gonna struggle. And Muffin Loop is gonna try to look for that first kill right now. Gwen is still in the corner, but she is actually supported by Hisoka, who swings out. Gwen gets a headshot onto Muffin Loop, and that's exactly what Big Scythe need if they want to win this bonus round. This Sheriff headshot onto Muffin Loop. Again, this is exactly the problem, right? They don't have the flashes to go in. And then Muffin Loop is forced to duel, and no one is there to back her up. I think that's the biggest issue here. There are no trades. And look at Gwen. She's upgraded to a Vandal from her Sheriff. And I think this is going to be absolutely amazing for Big Scythe. Looks like it's going to be an A execute for Asteria instead. They're trying to go into the side right now, but Chasey is there. Might be able to get one with her Ghost. Gets one, but they actually get another kill as well. Shrey gets taken down at mid with that Spectre. So now Asteria on their buy round is down on a 2v4.
Indeed. And Britzy, though, will be taking one with that Vandal. Let's see if the spray transfer happens. Meow 16k in towards Generator was able to take down one, but the Ghost is going to clean that up. And basically here, Key, this is where Illustrato's point of view goes in. KO has been proving himself time and time again, and it was demonstrated by Gwen in towards the early phases of the game into middle side. But this is the replay from earlier. It was a very nice trades for both Meow 16k and Britzy, but unfortunately though, again, they were cornered. I was mentioning from earlier, at least into the previous wildcard, it started there that Asteria is known for them sandwiching out the members, but this time around, Big Scythe is doing that exactly.
Yeah, and winning a bonus round always feels good, right? You were at a deadlock tie 6-6 coming to the second half, and Big Side take the pistol round, take their buy round, and even take their bonus round. And this is starting to look scary for Asteria. Chase You gets the first kill as well onto Frey. It is a full eco, almost full eco for them. So it's not going to be a big loss, but this is, after all, Big Side's map pick as well. Let's not forget that. Yamori with the shock dart onto Britzy, getting revenge kill of her own with the shock darts. Meow 16k takes Yamori down though.
To be fair, in terms of having a very full eco composition or round, to say the least, excuse me, but before anything else, Crescents though is able to take it down. Gwen with that grenade was able to clean up Casper. So back to the point that I was trying to say in towards this replay here. It's quite a common strategy where if you are on full eco, you're just gonna go all together in a site, and basically Big Scythe here just took advantage of that. Okay, we know that you're just in one area, so might as well go around mid, go around to B, and just peek you from there. And that's just basically what happened onto the previous round.
Yeah, and now it's gonna be another gun round for Asteria, so I think this might be where they turn things around, but Krolo is actually on the operator.
Interesting.
It's gonna be a bit of a one-way here in Crescents with the fragment there, but they're not gonna find anyone just yet. They should be able to hear this sound though. There's the owl drone being used as well. Is gonna be spotting her. See, Crescents wants to stand her ground. Hisoka gets a kill onto Muffin Luke first, and there's the paint shells coming out. They have to fall back a little bit, but Crescents is still up front, and no one is actually going to push. The spike is all the way onto B lobby. There's the first kill coming out from the off too. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nice because Yamori was able to pre-aim at a convenient angle, and Hisoka as well, just going in for the cleanup here. So only Meow 16 was remaining, was basically going in towards Catwalk and takes a kill of her own. But I was about to say before everything happened. But before that, Showstopper not going to get some damage from Yamori anytime soon. Just a chinky bit. But right now, Meow 16 was able to secure that. Not really daunted by that operator potentially. And just spray in towards smoke. And it was a good call, to say the least, for Chasu to just back off instead of push, because now the lockdown is already up and running.
Oh, nice kill from her. So Spike was denied, and now the lockdown is going to discourage her from going down and planting. Hisoka cleans things up. And now we were 6-6, and now Big Side are on an 11-6 lead.
Going back in towards this replay, okay, we do see that Meow 16 was able to get a kill of her own in the process, as well as taking down Yamori here, who is this time around the imposing threat in an operator, but Chase, the moment she places that lockdown, takes a quick peek in towards sight, already knows how things are going to pan out to be. So really, this is a good call for VLT to get that timeout up and running. Maybe it will work on their favor, to say the least, but this is the point that I wanted to really emphasize onto that previous round, right? So firstly, in towards I feel like VLT kind of invested a bit in terms of using the utilities in towards A main, but did not reciprocate it with the push, because you mentioned
Yep.
it that they didn't push it, right?
Yep.
So because of that, that kind of like threw off the bat the plan that they initially had in taking a site. And so I guess that's where it kind of faltered from there, knowing that Hisoka and Crescents was in a site, cleaning them up in the process. So what do you think could be a better key for Asteria, just so that they can gather more points all the way up to potentially a draw of like 11 points, or even better, may take the match point?
I think an full execute on the side is something that we haven't seen. They're just going for these defaults, and they're losing to the pushes because Big Scythe are very fast in recognizing where the lapses in their positioning are. And Yamori gets spotted by the all drone here, and this is exactly what I want to see from them. They're starting to flush out the operator here, making her ineffective, using those smokes to their advantage. Meow 16k with a headshot onto Gwen. So they're all gathered mid right now, so they can decide to go A or B still at this point in time. But it seems like they're going to go for A because they want to rescue this gun. Meow 16k passes the Phantom to Muffin Luke. He uses Satchel to get in, but Crescent is on that spot. And now Britsy's going to get a double kill off her own using that Spectre. Starting to look good for Asteria, but Big Scythe still have a Vandal and an Operator. So this 2v3 situation, if Chase You might actually get caught here.
Could be, and a possibility as well, but with only a Sheriff to work with, Shrey has to be precise with her aim at this point. Will be spotting out Chasu in the process as well, and that's a very nice kill for her. And all the more secure it by Shrey taking that round, and that's going to be a thrifty Yahoo moment by VLT.
Yeah, getting these Sheriff shots in was really key to winning this round. Shrey missed the first shot, but she gets the second one. And this shot onto Yamori, that was sick, by the way. Like, you challenge an operator with a Sheriff and you win. I think that should feel good for Asteria. That timeout really, I think, reset their mindset as to how to go about things, because you could see that they were a bit more decisive, a bit more aggressive there. And getting those kills is really important. So let's see if they can keep this up.
Truth, but at this point, we can already consider, Key, that every round counts. They need to have these consecutive wins so that they can catch up on the points. This is an early lockdown, but Shrey is able to deny that path by taking down Hisoka, who was aggressive towards mid lane. Crescents for the trade, though, did not see that coming for Casper. Crescents with that 2k as well. This is your Omen moment, and right now, they are gonna go once again to market. Britsy takes that isolation fight, but it's not going to pay off as Yamori goes and takes Britsy down, and basically responds Gwen as well, because Gwen's ult is up and running. So Mia 16k, though, it still takes one for the trade. Chasu as well for Kima's on. Oh, that is a very nice angle to look for, to say the least. Uses the paint shell, the pushes is up and coming. Satchels as well, but gets the 3k clutch from Nanoleaf.
I think Chasey had a gun there, and I think that she probably didn't have bullets after spraying in front of previous. Like here, she sprayed most of the bullets there, and because she didn't have any more bullets in the chamber, she thought that maybe a classic would help her out this time around. But you know, that's the nature of the classic, right? Sometimes it works. Sometimes your right click yields 2 headshots. Sometimes it doesn't hit anything at all, and at that point in time, it didn't work out for them. And it looks like Asteria is trying to find their stride here. It's a bit late in the game, but I think that they can still catch up. There's only 3 rounds difference now. From 11-6, they've won 2 rounds in a row, and Asteria are starting to look good, because Big Scythe, they don't have the economy for rifles right now.
Indeed, unless otherwise they can go for thrifties, but see, this is where also the change of pace happens for Big Scythe, because they are on eco. Basically, they are forced to be on a passive approach, in which VLT is going to take advantage of that. Trey takes Chasu down. Already seeing the other members here, Yomori and Hisoka is forced to go for the double peek. Oh.
Casper and Shrey with kills apiece, but Hisoka gets a headshot onto Shrey. She can get a big gun here. We've seen her clutch before, but 1v4 right now, and I don't think she's in a good position, because she's getting the wrong reads here. She's at B right now, and I think she might just run into Muffin Loop here. Let's see who kills first. Hisoka actually gets the first kill. Immediately dismisses.
Oh.
She does have the Empress as well. If she wants to try to clutch this, not sure if you want to commit your ultimate in the 1v3 though, but if she can do this, it'll be really amazing for Big Scythe because that puts him in match point.
The Lear uses all utilities at play. I don't think that she'll be using the Empress to say this because she may want to save it for the match point, right? So in here, gets a little bit of an isolation, but still spots out Meow 16K in the corner because of that whiff. But Casper still secures that 11-9 scoreline. Look at the replay right here, Key.
Yeah, that was an amazing flick. Okay, this first kill onto Muffin Loop, so she doesn't get trapped there. But look at this. She gets shot from the corner, and look at her flick and adjust onto Meow 16K's head with 29 HP remaining. I mean, that's some damage to the economy. But that flick was amazing. And I think the Big Scythe, they might be able to reverse this time. They finally have enough to buy again.
True, and they are known for that aggressive play here, and the fact that they're defenders, they don't really hesitate into pushing per se. Because look at Crollo just basically plays himself in the process. Showstopper Satchel up. Will he spot Hisoka though? Oh no! Actually, Crescent Snow will be taking it down. Britzy as well for the trade, but the Showstopper is not going to be placed in towards that fight. Muffin Loop is planting the spike. That's a nice position of Swarm Grenades, to be fair. It delays the push. And with the help of Hunter's Fury from Crollo, it delays them from further pushing the site.
Yeah, there's a Cosmic Divine being committed as well. This makes it so dangerous for the defenders to go out because they don't see anything at all, but Hisoka doesn't care. Just use the Empress, gets out, dismisses, but Casper is all the way onto main, takes Hisoka down, takes Chase down as well. Oh, the kills left and right, but Gwen is in the Cosmic Divine, gets taken down by Shrey in the end. It's now 11-10.
11-10, they are starting to crawl their way up here for the side of Asteria. I mean, they are known for that, right? To have that consecutive wins to work in their favor, but that was a beautiful jump from Hisoka. Fortunately, was cornered by Casper, who is in a main, and as well just taking those kills as they see the peaks come through. So Muffin Loop also takes a kill of her own in the process, and you know, they're just I couldn't say that it's chaotic, but I think it's more of plan. Why?
Yeah.
Because the angles basically and the position of Asteria, of the members of Asteria, were basically meant for that specific post plan.
Completely agree. And it's gonna be another. It's a force buy round for Big Side. And you mentioned it. Asteria are known for winning rounds together, and they're also known for their timeouts. So the last time they did a timeout, they won 11 rounds in a row on split. I think that's absolutely amazing. And right now, right after that timeout, they've actually been winning out. So it was 11-6 when they called the timeout, and they won 4 rounds in a row.
Indeed. So we may see another scenario like that right now, unless Big Scythe, shuts it down with more better play. So they're kind of invested in towards mid site, which I can say is quite a safe play because you can move around the sites to and fro with ease. So this is going to be another lockdown for Chasu. Are they going to go in aggressively though? Look at that beautiful smoke coming in from Muffin Loop. Let's see how this is going to be played out.
This Hunter's Fury being committed as well, buying them so much time. The spike is planted right now. It's going to be a 5v5 retake, which is very difficult. Muffin Loop gets the first kill already, and it's not looking good for Big Side anymore. Meow 16K takes Chase you down as well, but Gwen takes one, immediately gets traded by Britzy. It's all down to Hisoka yet again. See if she can find yet another 1v4 that she has to play. Gets the first kill. She can heal, but she gets taken down through the wall. Shrey sprays through the pretty much cardboard wall there, taking Hisoka down. Now it's 11-11.
11-11, just like that. Let's look at the quick replay. Muffin Loop opens it up by securing it all the more, taking down Crescents. Meow 16K as well with quick reflexes and seeing them on smoke. Hisoka was able to trade it out by knowing where Britzy is, which is at B main, but they're just too fast and to react to this, and really went for the cleanup. And right now 11 for both sides of the team. Big Scythe really needs that miracle play so that they can secure this match point.
I don't like that Big Scythe are forcing on this round with
Yeah.
Spectres. And they even take the wrong gamble there at mid and A. And now it's going to be a quick B execute from Asteria. They're already into the site, and they they just don't have any control right now on the side of Big Scythe.
But that's a very nice wiggle kick from Finloop. Takes one, make it another. That was a quick turnaround from looking at B long to going into market once again. That's very quick. And Chasu was able to detect Shrey's foot in towards that smoke here. So how are things gonna go here? Casper off cam kill there. But VLT members are low on HP, but Meow 16k for 1 and 2, but Gwen with the trade, Casper to clean up 11 to 12. They were able to turn the table around.
They should really patent this Asteria timeout at this point in time because wow, that's 6 rounds in a row for them. Decisive rounds too. And right now Big Scythe, because they forced in the previous round, I don't think they'll have much economy coming into this round. They've also used a lot of their utilities. So I think that coming into this match point, this is going to be a bit difficult for them to get into the tiebreaker. Look at that. Only 2 rifles, a Vandal and a Phantom, and 3 of them are on Spectre. So it could be a really difficult defense here. But they're still employing the same defense. 2A, 2 mid, and a lone killer on the B side. And this is not looking good for them anymore. Meow 16 gets the first kill, gets a second kill as well onto Crescents. And looks like Big Scythe are in big trouble. Now the paint gels come out, flushes Yamori out. 5 of the members funneling into the A side right now. Gwen still has her ultimate, but does it really matter if she uses it at this point? It just gives away her position. Meow 16k takes a bullet to the head but survives because that's just a Spectre. Gwen takes one down, but the bot is chasing her. Okay, they get taken down. Meow 16k getting really low right now. Could be the flash use. The shock dart coming out as well. Britzy gets flashed, but Meow 16k still gets a kill. Chase you takes Casper down, and it's still looking pretty dicey for Big Scythe. The showstopper getting used as well, doesn't find anyone. Yamori is gonna get flushed out eventually. They're trying to get into the start right now. They're on Jenny. Spectres looking pretty good at this range, really. There's someone on Heaven though, might be able to push her. Yamori gets 1 kill. Can Big Scythe do this? Britzy gets 1. Shrey 1v2 right now for Chase you, but not gonna do it at all. That's an Asteria comeback from the timeout.
Very nice play coming in from VLT Asteria. Imagine they were a bit of slow, as I mentioned, in towards those pushes and in towards the first half of the game. But then again, they were able to bounce back up in towards the second half the moment that they had that timeout. And again, you mentioned it time and time again. They are known for that. Whenever they're on timeout afterward, it's like they're an all-for-one team and just, really had that ultimate smash in towards those games and won the remaining rounds consecutively. Imagine 11-6 made it into an 11-13.
Yeah, that's really scary. I mean, when Asteria called a timeout, they mean business. They really reset. They find a strat. I'm not sure what goes on in those timeouts. We need to ask them if they do win the series and do get an interview with them. But those timeouts are really amazing for Asteria because I've never seen a team in FSL call for a timeout and really just win out. And Asteria have done that yet again. So I think that's really interesting. Whatever their coaches tell them, whatever the team does in that timeout, really like maybe rejigging how they think, how they approach the site, or maybe just sharing what they know, what their reads are, is truly amazing. And going from a 6-11 deficit to 13-11 is just a sight to behold.
Indeed. So far in terms of predictions, we do have Jaeger with that 1 point. So let's see if Big Scythe is to prove that wrong with a potential third game, or will Asteria just really sweep this out and just don't go away, guys. We will be right back to see if it happens.
An absolutely heartbreaking defeat right there from Big Scythe in game number 1, coming so close but falling so short at the very end of it. We once again bear witness to the legendary timeouts of Asteria once more, yet again rearing its face to everybody in the scene, showing why they have the best timeouts in the FSL, in the entire SEA here. And, I'm again your panel host here today, Illustrata. Joining me is going to be Jaeger and Key. We're going to be breaking down what just happened in that previous game. 11 rounds. And, we were talking about it right before this on desk, Jace. 11 is all they get.
11 is all they get, that's right. I mean, they start off both halves really strong. We're at a 4-1 in that first half. We got so close to the end there. 11 rounds go to Big. 11 rounds. And they just started losing. It was just non-stop. VLT, the Asteria pause, as Key called it, that should be a hashtag, because my goodness, what a difference it makes. Meow 60 on 276 combat score. She did such a good job, and so did Hisako. She was getting into all these clutch positions. She was doing her absolute best, and just at the end there, just not enough, because this team, VLT, they put their heads together and they figured out this problem. And there weren't that many problems with Big, to be honest. It really was up to VLT to step up.
You make a great point. I mean, going back to what you said on Hisoka, just that last, I think that clutch really summarized it up. I mean, that one clutch and that like 1v2 in the lockdown, and then she came and pushed into it and gets the final kill like 0.0 something seconds right before the lockdown comes in. Absolutely stellar performance, but unfortunately just wasn't enough to eke out that victory. And Kia, I want to go back to this. I do think a lot of it had to do with that mental game. The moment that they hit 11, it's suddenly like they hit a brick wall after that timeout. And I was wondering the whole time, where was the timeout from Big Scythe? They called one earlier on in the game. I think it was in the first half. But the moment the momentum started slipping away from them and they started losing round after round, I think it was 11-7 at some point, they never really let them, they never really got back into the game, and they just let Asteria run right over them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I really want to know what goes into that Asteria pause, right? I don't know if they pack a motivational speech in that 1 minute, but I need that in my life, whatever that is, because they get going there. On the side of Big Scythe, I do agree. Like maybe a timeout should have been called up. I'm not sure if they only have one, to basically cut that momentum. But it looks like Big Scythe couldn't find any answers. And if I would even say maybe there was a little bit of tilt when they were down 11-12. They force bought, and coming into the last round, which could have been the equalizer, they could have bought rifles, but instead they lost that round because three of them did not have rifles.
You're absolutely right, and that ended up with them having to push aggressive angles. They got caught out. It ended up in an early 3v5 simply because, you know, of the economic disparity that we just saw in that previous game. But let's go ahead and talk about game number 2 here. We've broken down the previous one, and in the upcoming one, you know, Jaeger, we said the first map, it needed to go to Big Scythe there because, again, Ascent is really one of their more comfortable maps. It's really one of the maps that they shine in, and they did shine, just not bright enough to eclipse Asteria on this one.
Yeah, and, I mean, they've lost their map pick, Big Scythe, and now they're going on to Asteria's map pick, where they are feeling confident, and where Scythe have historically just not done well. And so, odds being in favor of Big Scythe, just really not, to say the least. So, yeah, VLT Asteria, they should be feeling confident going into this one, especially with that huge comeback from their last game. They've got momentum, they've got their map pick, they've got their first win, and they're looking to get that 2-0.
Yeah, it's looking like Asteria pulling things back just when we started to get a little bit worrisome. They once again proved to us why they are one of the front runners here in the tournament, one of the mainstays in the FSL Elite and just in the entire FSL circuit in general. Now, going into Split, what kind of changes, Key, do we have to see here from Big Scythe if they want to take the victory up against VLT Asteria, especially on their map pick?
They really need to win more rounds on the defensive side because I think that they're going to struggle a bit on attack. So not going 6-6 in going to the second half will be a big advantage for them. I think that they need to tighten their defense a bit more. That's where they actually fell towards the end on Ascent, right? They started to get messy. Maybe they didn't have the timeout to break Asteria's streak. Maybe they need to reserve the timeout this time around to make sure that the Asteria pause is actually paused.
Yeah, absolutely right there because, you know, the pauses once more, we go back into it. I think at some point, I don't know, a lot of viewers here might be new. The Asteria pause is really quite legendary here in the circuit, in FSL Elite, and you know the entire VCT Game Changer circuit in general. The last time they did that, they pulled this an amazing comeback. It was like what 11 rounds in a row or something like that. They managed to come back from right after a pause, and we're like, okay, whatever they said in that timeout, it's just the stuff of legends.
That was on Split.
It was on Split, and you know, it just makes me think those are the kind of things that you probably hear like a bard say in like Dungeons and Dragons, and probably give you like that's when you roll a crit on like a check or something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the agents coming in here. I really like what I saw from Big Scythe. They put Hisoka on that Reyna, a lot of effectiveness. might be the key here for this next one. And I really do like the KO pick as well. I think it really worked out for them in that first map. I think Split is one of those maps where you can really let the KO shine as well, especially when you're breaking into sites that might be harder to get into, just like that B site, Chase.
Yeah, I think so. Having that KO, I mean, yeah, you proved it. I mean, I was right with my my big pick there for Asteria, so I'll give you one. And
Barely.
yeah, KO did a really good job. Gave a lot of space, gave a lot of information as well, and those nades were really delaying those pushes back in. So, especially on a map like Split, where there's a lot of very small, tight angles to enter these sites, yeah, having those nades available, having those flash drives available, can be very useful.
Well, let's take a look and see whether they're going to be running with what they're comfortable with or changing things up. And yeah, we will be seeing this, the KO yet again. I'm absolutely elated to see it. We're going to be seeing a double initiator, a single duelist pickup here for VLT Asteria side. Now Asteria, they're going to be having the KO on their side. Now Big Scythe, they're also going to be running with the KO. I think people are starting to realize, okay, it's meta now. Okay, KO, it's legit, especially after what we saw in the last LCQs. People are picking it up left and right, and it's making a lot of sense. Now, one thing that is different from this one, they are both running the double initiator, but instead of the Sky, we're going to be seeing Breach onto Big Scythe. And personally, Key, I actually prefer this. I think it gives you a lot more entering capability as you go into those sites.
Yeah, especially on Split, right? I think that's probably the only map I would recommend Breach on. Sky is much better on bigger maps, but in a small map like Split, Breach is just so good. Like, you can clear corners that are typically dead corners, pretty much. And with with the Rolling Thunder, you could pretty much clear the whole site. And I think you can't do that with Sky, especially on Split.
Yeah, well, you heard it from us again on the panel, and we're going to be bringing it to the casters to tell us all about game number 2. So again, it's coming your way, casters. Take it away.
There you are. Thank you so much. Key, you were in panel earlier. So yeah, you've made a lot of amazing points, especially in towards game number 1, wherein we did see an amount of choke that happened from Big Scythe, you know, because we've seen that Asteria won those rounds consecutively, and really a great hashtag Asteria pause right there and then. But yes, you also mentioned about basically having that economic disparity that happened into the remaining rounds that could have been better if they decided to save into that 11-11 fight and then just had better weaponry come the next one. So with this in mind, and you guys mentioned that Split, basically it's the Asteria map, and also the legendary pause of 11 consecutive wins is in here. So what do you think does Big Scythe have to do so that they can really conquer all of these pointers that they need to watch out for?
Again, it's just going to be the defense, right? Like, being able to win on defense and Split is really important because the attacking side is much more difficult. This is a serious map pick, and they know that they're likely going to start an attack, so they're going to be ready with the executes there. I mean, we saw how they executed on Ascent in that second half after their pause. Specifically after their pause, their executions were just flawless, and being able to win 7 rounds in a row is no small feat. So Asteria, they're going to be very ready with the executes onto the sites, and Big Scythe, they need to rotate faster. They need to decide at which point they need to yield the site and go for a retake, or maybe even just stand their ground, or whatever they can do to stop the push from Asteria.
That was actually a nice wall from Chasto here towards Garage, because it delayed the push that they were to have on B. And right now it's going to force some amount of skill sets that VLT has to do. So Chasto takes 1. Casper for the trade. Gwen will spot out Muffin Loop in towards mid. And they are in towards heaven. They took some bodies on the floor respectively. Crescents for 1, but Ritzy for that right click, make it a 2. Not enough for a 3rd because he was sandwiched. She was sandwiched from both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, so Big again with yet another pistol round. So they've been winning every single pistol round, but
and of course this is going to be the quick replay of that by having we did see Hisoka 1, Crescents will take 1 as well, and this is basically just not having that numbers advantage, at least to say, into that first round. So pistol went into the hands of Big Scythe here, similar to match number 1.
My ult's not ready.
Yeah, and getting those pistol rounds is really important for Big Scythe, right? It didn't pan out for them in map number 1. They got both pistol rounds, but in the end, still went 11-13. But I think that if they don't get the pistol rounds, it will be way worse. So, being able to secure the pistol round ensures at least a good start. But we've seen Big Scythe start off really well, but in the end, just get overwhelmed by Asteria's offense. So, great double position here on ramps. There's 3 onto A right now, and the spike is still on A. It looks like Asteria are going to think twice about this and starting to funnel into mid instead.
We're starting to see another slow progress coming in from Asteria, because we've witnessed this from the first match. They weren't really winning the first 4 or 5 rounds of the ground, but that's going to be a flash. Hisoka still is able to get Casper down despite, you know, changing guns, reloading rather. But Muffin Loop for the trade, Chase you as well in towards mid of the site, and just took advantage of those people on the low, and a bit of a jiggle peek to and fro here for both sides. Muffin Loop with only the member remaining with low HP, and the Spectre double peeking is the better play.
Yeah, they could just like catch a breath, and Muffin Loop will just fall there. 12 HP will die to any single bullet that she takes. And yeah, she can't do much at that point anymore, but this is how it's supposed to go, right? I mean, on split, it's a bit scary actually, second rounds. I've seen many ecos on the second round, many anti-ecos rather, on the second round actually lose because the map is so small, you could easily get overwhelmed. But it's not happening this time.
Indeed. And maybe here for the third round, now that Asteria has better weaponry to work with, maybe they can really do the play. But so far, in terms of positions, they are quite separated. So I think it's a matter of them securing a certain area or playing for peaks. Because I guess they have some in their minds that they need to really take away the threat that has been imposed upon them, at least for the first 2 rounds. So potentially this could be a bonus round for Big Scythe, because again, the weaponry is seen in here, but slowly taking a peek here as Shrey takes Crescents down towards screens. Is this the opportunity that they need? Because look, from vents towards heaven, they could take down KO in here with only a frenzy to work with, but that's 1 before actually being taken down.
Yeah, taking 1 is maybe more than enough. They just need to damage Asteria's economy because this is their bonus round after all. A win would be amazing in Cherry on top, but you know, Big Scythe, they won their bonus round and that second half in the previous map didn't really work out for them either way. So they just need to be a bit more consistent in really getting these rounds. And Hisoka immediately gets taken down by Casper. 2 Spectres right now going to the side. It's going to be really difficult there. Don't check the corner on the right. Shrey is going to walk up that smoke, takes 1, and Muffin Loop finishes off Yamori. They don't lose more than just 1.
That was very nice. The positioning went into the favor of Asteria here. Let's look at the quick replay. Shrey for that opening. Gwen was able to go for the trade up until Muffin Loop tries to secure it down, and in towards that back, it was played perfectly that they forced the members of Big Scythe in towards that area, and look at the crossfire that they did. It was beautifully done. So that's a point for Asteria, and this could be a similar feat that happened from match number 1. What do you think?
I think it might be different this time around. It is split after all, so I think that Big Scythe being on the defensive side is much more comfortable for them, and them having the guns is going to be okay. So they're playing a default right now. Actually, just no double peaks on the side of Big Scythe. They're just really playing passive. I don't think they want to push right now because this is their buy round, and they do want to come out of this. They have a good read of the situation though. Already rotating towards B. They don't know that the spike is actually onto B side already, as Hisoka is actually smoked out. Tries to spray 1 down. Finally gets me out 16k, but gets traded by Muffin Loop. Gwen is there to take down Shrey as well, defending the B side pretty well right now. The spike has not gone down yet. Casper takes Yamori down. Chase you is there, takes Frenzy down. Muffin Loop there for the trade. Casper takes Gwen down. All down to Crescents right now. It's going to be Breach. She does have flashes still. The plan has been faked. There's still a lot of time on the side of Asteria. And she gets taken down. Casper with the headshot onto Crescents. And Asteria string 2 rounds in a row.
It just meant that, you know, Casper and Muffin Loop, you can consider them as the police. Look at this, starting it off, Hisoka is going to be taken down because of that trade, Casper as well, and Chasu takes down Britzy, but Muffin Loop again for the save, and to finally finish it all off, Casper goes for a 3K, and it's really amazing how synergized they were in towards taking control of that site. And notice how they didn't plant immediately when Crescent was the only member remaining, because they wanted to know or take a better picture as to where Crescent was at first, and that's just paved the way to pushing from Ali. So this is going to be another potential B take here with Boombot and Paint Shells to be utilized. They were able to get it. Now it's time for post-plan situation.
Yeah, big guns who just gonna be real difficult for Big Scythe to come in with these pistols. They have been pretty effective with the Sheriff sometimes though, so let's see if they can land these shots, because this is still going to be a difficult 5v5 retake. They are planning to use their utility to try and at least smoke out Garage. There's the flashes. They're using all their utility. They really want to try for this one. Muffin Loop with the flash out of the smoke. 2 quick headshots, 5 quick kills for Asteria. It's going to be a Secret Lab flawless round for Asteria's side. They do take a little bit of chip damage from the pistols, but otherwise, that was a pretty clean round from them.
A smoother one indeed. You mentioned that the members of Big Scythe were really expending a lot of utilities, in which that played a huge role for the side of Asteria to take advantage of, because the more utilities that you use, it basically opened the field for you, and as we've seen it was a clean round for them, and in getting their 3rd point, they already, you know, have the points advantage this time around. And if they were to do this consecutively, it's going to be a big thing. But Yamori takes one with the help of Presence back there, the double peak. That's a big thing.
Yeah, definitely great round for Big Side round. They have control over the spike as well. So it's down to a 2v4, and I think they could just honestly band together and defend the spike here, because they have control over it.
They have control over it, and only see Britzy to try and attempt to take it down. And I mean, I could have thought that maybe Muffin Loop went towards mid potentially for a flank, but I think a save, it can happen for both sides of the team, unless of course they decided to really hunt down the remaining members of Asteria.
Yeah, they get information with the Suppression Blade, already trying to rescue the spike here. There's a fragment coming out. Chase You takes on Muffin Loop though. It's now 1v4 for Britzy, and she gets taken down by Gwen.
And it's for, to say the least, for the side of the Big Scythe, they were able to go aggressive in towards a lobby, simply because you've see this is the replay right now. Yamori had that feeling that Asteria were to go in towards B side again, so it's technically open, but because of this, they were able to respond accordingly towards the teammates and just go for those double peaks that they kept up and running. So it's still a tie to both sides. It's actually a better a better position for Big Scythe, to say the least.
Yeah, they're starting to find their stride yet again on this defensive side. Gwen with an opening kill onto Shrey, peeking with her teammates. Great aggressive play from them, really changing up the tempo here. But Asteria are gonna punish that push. 2 versus 3, and they take all 3 down without a casualty, except for Shrey at the opening frag. And right now, Asteria have turned things around.
Beautiful angle isolation coming in from Muffin Loop there, just places herself in towards that corner, and then peek them one by one, and finally to end it with a wide peek to take Gwen away. And 4-2 in towards our fight here for post plant. This is nice, because the post plant situation kind of works in the favor of Asteria, because they are locking it with the angles. But speaking of this, Hisoka was able to take Britzy down at an off angle towards A main. But is it enough though? Do they have time to actually defuse the spike? Because Muffin Loop's on his way to Hisoka, who did the same thing to her. And with the 3K as well, Chase-Su may have went for the trade, but not enough to defuse the spike.
Yeah, they ran out of time, but at least they got as much as they can from that. They tried to damage Asteria's economy, and I'm not sure if Big Scythe have enough coming into this next round. Yeah, here's the 2v3. Takes one down, and like you mentioned, the crossfire and angle isolation from Muffin Loop and Britzy really taking those players down was detrimental to actually winning that round. And Muffin Loop with the flank on the flanker here. Hisoka gets taken down. Chase you just sneaks one last kill before getting away. And it looks like Big Scythe, they're still gonna force by one of them with a bulldog, some light armors here and there on the side of Asteria. They're looking pretty good. Suppression Blade coming out, detects 3, so that's a lot of information on Big Scythe.
I think Asteria is not going to be troubled by this, to say the least, because again, it just takes seconds before that suppress is gone. And so they just have the option of just not pushing aggressively and just wait for it to be removed. And that's what basically is the case. Also placing this toxin wall in towards B side can be a diversion play potentially that can come from Shrey and company. So notice how they're just delaying the push. They're trying to make that play into thinking that they're gonna go towards A, but spotting it out here for Ted of Krollo, at least that is information. So at any time they're not gonna go and be all reactive.
Yeah, and that wall, we've seen that fake before from Asteria. I think they used the Viper's Pit onto A side and then ran into B. That was probably the biggest bait in FSL, in any single FSL game. And I think that's going to be another bait, the Cosmic Divide plus the Toxin Wall, and then running into A. They sell these fakes so well. So there's only one defender left. They haven't fully bit yet on the side of Big Scythe here, but it is enough. That spike is going to go down, and they're forced to do yet another 5v5 retake.
Might want to commend Chase as well there, despite all of that utilities thrown at B, he still did not let go of A, and that was information. So at least they were able to rotate at a speedy rate. But right now, post plant is in the hand. Forgot to check the corners, but Yamori still wins the fight. And let's see, Showstopper and Roll here as well with the breach, and with that Showstopper takes the 3k, beautifully done. Hisoka for a trade, but is it enough? Again, the time is of the essence, but the essence is in the side of Britzy as she goes for the cleanup.
Yeah, Meow 16k with the sick triple from the Showstopper there, really just cleaning things up. I mean, like, it gone in an instant. Yamori with a quick kill here, and Meow 16k, unfortunately, because of all the chaos, we didn't really see that Showstopper, but triple kill off of one ultimate is absolutely amazing for Asteria.
And quite threatening as well. They may have to be careful once, you know, Meow 16 really has that opportunity to use that Showstopper again. They will do their best basically to not be grouped together so that it doesn't happen again. And here we are seeing that they are in Insight, uses the satchel for a more mobile ground, uses the Viper's ult. So this is interesting because a lot of utilities are thrown, but at the same time it works in the favor of Asteria, at least for the post-plan situation.
Yeah, and this post-plan is always very difficult because there's the Viper's Pit, it's split, you don't even have any guns on your side. Oh, but you actually pick up a gun now, using the Blade Storm for the headshot. Meow 16k though is watching this elbow. There's two members on Big Scythe right now. Shrey is there for the kill, and they're gonna clean it up. Hisoka and Yamori though get headshots of their own, and Yamori with a triple kill already. 1v1 right now with the Blade Storms up. This is doable for her if she gets the headshot. She sees the head, gets the headshot with the blades!
And finally has enough time to defuse the spike roll. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe they actually pulled that off. Krollo with that Blade Storm pulls off the Yahoo Thrifty. Getting this first kill here is extremely important. I said it was hard, but I didn't say it was impossible, because with players like Krollo, they can definitely do this. Look at that, Hisoka getting a kill, headshots with the blades, immediately kills with the Vandal, switches to the Blade Storm, sees the head. Meow 16k, revealing a bit too much information with that first peek. And I think that her peeking there was actually unlucky because she got spotted by Krollo and she knew where to aim those blades.
To be fair, that is a great, denial of another point from Asteria, who we did see, we did mention what had a good post-plant situation, but Gwen will be taking down Muffin Loop with that grenade that he had. So this could be an opportunity to be aggressive, but with the flash, that's gonna be a 3K for Meow, 16K. But the corners though, let's see how things are gonna go from here, because they have now the opportunity to go and control a site with the numbers advantage.
Yeah, Hisoka looking the wrong way though, might get crept up here, but she might actually get the jump instead. Drake straight down with Britzy is there for the trade. The rest of the members of Asteria already funneling into the A site. 1v3 for Chase U. Do you really want to fight this 1v3? Oh, she has res. She was choosing between two teammates. Like, who should I res this time? And it looks like Gwen is going to be the one res. They do have the rifles too, so this is doable for them still.
But again, it depends on how they're going to position themselves, because okay, that's res, so at least they know that they're gonna come from vents. Look at this corner, very cheeky, but still Gwen wins it out. Casper and Meow 16 for the cleanup, and Meow has that 4K up on her sleeves too.
Yeah, Meow 16K with a 4K. Immediately, this triple kill is absolutely sick. Gets one down, gets a second, and the third as well. So that flash support from her teammate actually nets her that triple kill. Hisoka getting one kill here, but a bit too over-eager to go for the second peak. Immediately gets traded.
And here, 64. Right now, we're almost nearing the end of the first half, with Asteria still having that lead, but not disregarding Big Scythe just yet, because they already have the idea. It's just about defending in terms of post plant is what they need to really polish upon. So here, a lot of utilities are being thrown at, but it's not going to really make a difference because they already have the site.
Yeah, and they only have pistols right now, so again, it's going to be yet another difficult round, but this time no Blade Storm on Krollo, so there's going to be, I don't think the miracle is very likely to happen here like it did in the round before this.
And very nice security policy coming in from Shrey as she places a lot of utilities at hand towards Split to deny any aggressive push from coming through. And Casper, being a bit of a sneaky peeky here towards Amy, takes one, but with the help of the members, was able to figure it all out. And just like that, a very sandwichy play from Asteria. This is the sandwich that they have been eating and showing to the other members. 7-4 on the scoreline. Best bet of a more viable line, very viable score line is, a 7-5 for the side of Big Scythe. But for Asteria, regardless if they win or lose here, they may be in a lax position to at least for the first few rounds of the second half.
Yeah, I was hoping Big Scythe could at least go for an equalizer here, because this is, after all, a serious map pick. So Big Scythe falling behind on defense, I think it's going to be really difficult for them on the attacking side.
Especially knowing how aggressive, Asteria can be despite being on the defender side, because we've seen that kind of scenario time and time again, that when it comes to the second half and then Asteria is on the defenders, they just really go ham, and I would like to see if they are going to do that for later, but right now let's focus on the now. Shrey not going to see Crescents there, but is gonna be spotted out by Muffin Loop for that trade. Uses the Seekers in time before being taken down by Yamori. That is intel.
Yeah, but I think that if she didn't use the Seekers, she probably would have lived there. Gwen is there for the kill, but Meow16 trades Gwen out. It's now down to 3v2. Big Side are at the advantage here.
They had that passive approach and just waited for that moment to happen, and it's about positioning basically for Crescents, to say the least, because she wasn't spotted out by Shrey in towards that site, so that alone is an opener for their team. So because of this, Chaesu really nice denial on that potential push takes, just so that she won't be flanked later on. However, she did not see them coming in from garage when she went towards stairs, so let's see how this thing is going to go.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, they still have 3 members for a retake. I think that's pretty okay, because it's 3v2, so they still have the advantage. Suppression Blade comes out, detects Tracy. She's not able to shoot the blade before it pops. That's going to be the Cosmic Divide being used. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be beneficial or might even hurt their chances of this retake, because there's an open corner there for Britzy. Meow 16k gets 2 kills of her own. This Cosmic Divide definitely is not paying off. The Showstopper is going to be committed. That's going to be a big bazooka, and Chase You is down to 3 HP. Not sure what she can do here right now. She has to play this because this is the last round of this half. Not finding anyone though. They're not giving her any room to go for this clutch. Gonna try to go for the spike with Meow 16k with yet another 4k. Finishes off the half 8-4 for Asteria.
Switching side.
Unfortunately, this is going to be the replay right now. So Crescents was able to take down one Muffin for the trade, but this is where things are gonna start off. Trades across the board, but I think the ult, as you mentioned, is one of the things that kind of hindered the potential win from Big Scythe, and even though they had the numbers advantage, because yes, it may have narrowed down the map, but not in the favorable position for Big Scythe. If anything, it went in towards the favor of Asteria, because take note, they were on backside though, and there was space for Britzy to work on, and bullets don't penetrate in towards that ult, so you gotta consider a lot of factors there. And Mia 16k placed herself beautifully in an angle, you know, maybe predictable, but still got the job done.
Britzy's knife actually got destroyed here, so they have information that Big Scythe are actually going to the A site. There's a rotation coming in for Asteria already. The spike is still far away from the site. They have not cleared the site at all, but it looks like they're going to check out ropes. Oh! Meow 16k. Yamori was not careful there. The second explosion from the pain shells actually takes her down.
That was a what moment coming in by being taken down with pain shells. Really unexpected, but Casper though goes for the opening, takes one, make it a 2. Is it gonna be a 3? Shuts down by Gwen. Chasu as well with a kill of her own. They do have the spike now towards B, but take note, numbers advantage is in the hands of Asteria. So right now spike down, it goes. They know that one is in heaven, to say the least. So Britzy here just jiggle picking Gwen out, trying his best. Chasu takes one kill with the frenzy. Does she still have bullets? I think she took a lot, but Muffin Loop from the garage takes down Gwen. That's gonna be a flash. He takes the frenzy, and that's a beautiful, you know, retake by Asteria.
Sometimes frenzy just goes your way, and even in that range, right? Like if you can control the frenzy, that's actually pretty good. And getting the flash into the kill as well. Britzy and Muffin Loop have the flashes they need to retake the site, and this kill onto Chase You is just beautiful. So winning the pistol round, finally Asteria win their first pistol round of this series.
And yes, this again, it's not just about the pauses that makes Asteria really legendary, but also whenever they switch the sides. You know, it's like a certain amount of buff that flows through their bodies and just really go and wreak havoc towards these games. And this time, them being on the defender side, it kind of works, especially with the lineup that they have. Because look at that one smoke coming in from there, and as well with the KO to go and suppress. Into Big Scythe, however, they are eyeing out mid. Spots out Gwen, but let's see. It has to be very careful not to go on collateral. Angle isolation right there. Double peek by 2. And that is a 4-4 fight right now. Boombot is going to explode in front of his face. Uses the satchels. Another one as well. Casper to have the friend in aid with a 2k. Britzy to end it. And that's going to be the 10 point now for Asteria.
Yeah, Asteria are definitely running away with this game. They have the momentum. They are stringing these rounds together. They won the pistol. They even won the buy round. Shrey getting the kill there. I'm not sure what happened right after that, but it seems this Boombot just did so much damage to Big Scythe.
Okay, I'm thinking of this for the side of Big Scythe. They do have moments wherein like double picking works into their favor. What if they decide to do that, you know, a bit more aggressive coming in towards Garage here, because I noticed that it's quite of a thing for Big Scythe that, okay, sure, they use utilities, but they don't reciprocate it with the push. So maybe if they can do that, you know, maybe it will be a you know, better light for them. But as I say it, Trey already on the way towards B, but with better weaponry, Yamori takes the kill.
Yeah, Yamori with a bigger gun, of course, gets the headshot. They don't. Shrey doesn't even do much damage. Muffin Loop is on the flank of her own, but they're aware of this. Chase You takes her down with a quick headshot. They're funneling into B Heaven right now. Finds two, running away. Great flash from Big Scythe, and looks like it's gonna be a pretty clean round for them because it's a 1v5 right now. Meow 16K only has a judge.
I think that was miscomms coming in from Asteria, because I felt like they know that they were in towards Garage, but the thing is, Trey just had a sheriff back there, and to be double peaked as well is also another thing. And from there, they could have thought that they were still towards Ramen. That's why you saw Crescent and company just went towards straight to Heaven, and they didn't have time to react for the side of Asteria back there in towards Heaven. That's the reason why, you know, they were also picked off in the process. And as you mentioned, it is a clean slate for Big Scythe, at least to get a point for themselves.
Yeah, Meow 16K. Yeah, she's gonna choose to save the judge.
Interesting.
I think that dying in,
or maybe just getting a gun in the body as well.
no, but no one died, right? Like that was their bonus round. So saving this judge actually means that you can't buy the next round.
That's pretty interesting.
Uh-oh.
And of course, this is the timeout this time around. Who called the timeout? I was not able to see. Let's look at the replay, shall we? So that is basically the kill coming in from Yamori and company. And I guess basically that's like one of the things that kind of threw that round off for Asteria. And okay, this is a VLT timeout. So yeah, they kind of needed to really call that pause, because basically it was out of context.
Yeah, I mean, that was their bonus rounds. I think it's fine. I think they just want to close the game here. So Asteria are calling the Asteria pause just so, you know, they win the next 3 rounds in a row, ending this game quickly. I think that's what they definitely want to do, because they don't want to give Big Scythe any momentum right now. It's the first round that they won in the last 6 rounds, so I think that Big Scythe are starting to find something, but again, that was a buy round for them, and it was a bonus for Asteria.
Classic weapons for the side of Asteria. Oh, okay, no. Okay, I thought it was... okay, that kind of made me feel nervous a bit. Okay, so they do have better weaponry now. I think for me on 16, saving the judge meant that she may go and plan something aggressive in the long run. So this is going to be the Trailblazer will be the at least seeing Crescent from a main. So this is not enough for them to actually go for full rotate just yet for the side of Asteria.
Yeah, and this judge, let's see if he can actually be effective. Male is probably one of the best places to be with a judge, and because you also have the Poison Cloud actually blocking the vision into mail room. So I think that's actually a good position for... They also have the Astra stars, so they can smoke her out as soon as she gets a kill or 2.
Taken aback by with the stars here for the side, and I think they already have an idea to where the members are at, but slowly crawling towards mid is Gwen, and company uses that suppress. Did the tech raise? Oh yeah, it did, didn't it? So they're slowly going in towards vents. That's an audio cue for Britzy, to say the least. But will he spot it though? Because look at the angle. That's 1, 2. But onto the left side though, Gwen goes for the trade. But still, Britzy was able to get a 2K. So Hisoka
30 seconds left.
Should spot out Meow 16K and towards vents. But Trey here goes for the take. Another 2K for herself. And the spike is down there. So Hisoka, they still don't know that Hisoka is on vents. So maybe this could be an outplay possibly.
No, they don't.
Oh, they already went down. As soon as I say it, they already faced the direction. And that's going to be the 11 point for Asteria.
Look, Meow... Meow still kept her judge. Like, she could have upgraded to a rifle and maybe asked her teammate for, hey, can you buy me a judge? Because that's, you still save an extra 1,000 here. When Meow16k wants to style with her shotgun on that raise, and it looks like it's gonna be some judge gaming here.
Yeah, but you can say that Meow16 may judge you for later, you know, just finding that opening to basically pop off for later. But right now, another Trailblazer for the side of Loop here, trying to see if there are enemies nearby. Was able to spot out 2, so that's information already. And interesting how Loop is still aggressive, you know, despite all that. Well, she is known for that as well. So just places herself in the corner, going for crossfires here. They are going in towards Ramen, so they may try another Heaven B take for the side of Big Scythe. What do you think, Keith?
Yeah, I think that for Big Scythe, they're just looking for any opening that they can look for, and that first opening kill onto Shrey is really important. The pull coming out though, and there's Meow16k with the judge creeping up. Muffin Loop gets taken out as well, and looks like they're gonna take this B Heaven at least for free. Casper is still there, but takes a bullet to the head from Hisoka. And it's starting to look good for Big Scythe right now. Okay,
and Meow16 was able to spot out Yumyomori, who ran towards vents, and that's kind of secured it. Let's see, did she change gun yet? Okay, so she went from Vandal this time, picking it up on towards Heaven. Heard some footsteps towards it, and I like it how they place themselves there. That is a good flash from Presence. Can this be a round from Big Scythe?
Yeah, 1v4, not much hope for Britzy here because it's going to be difficult to play against this. Does get 1 kill though, she's trying to make it as expensive as she can. Takes Crescents down, and I don't know if she still wants to go for this or wants to stay. Oh, she is going to try to go for it, but Chase U is going to take her down, and Big Scythe get another round on the board.
And this is the replay of that. So we weren't able to see how Hisoka got that 2k specifically, but here that was a very nice utility coming in from Crescents. And here Britzy just made the most out of it, but by at least taking Crescents down. So 11-6, still a lot of ooh, that's actually a very nice lineup there. But 11-6, still in the last position for the side of Asteria, and for Big Scythe, they need to really, you know, make everything count.
Yeah, let's see if they can keep this momentum up, because Asteria now are on the back foot. Their economy has been ruined a little bit. Meow16k still with that judge, but Muffin Loop is still with a rifle. So I think that they can still get a few kills off of this. But Chase Yu says no to Shrey U. Shrey gets taken down with a quick headshot. There's the pull coming in. Gravity Well stopping the push for a little while. There's a flash coming into Heaven as well. They're trying to get into this B site. Now 16k gets taken down as she's trying to put down her boom bot. And B site is pretty open right now, with the exception of Muffin Loop looking outside that defender spawn. Takes 1 down. Chase U gets taken down with a headshot from that Phantom. There's a second flash as well. There's the suppression blade coming out, stopping her in her tracks, but they're not planting a spike yet. Britzy with her frenzy takes 1 down. Muffin Loop gets another kill, and it's starting to look really good for Asteria right now, even though they're on equal. There's Gwen missing a few shots, finally takes Muffin Loop down, but Casper with a headshot onto Hisoka. It's all down to Gwen right now when she gets taken down, and Asteria make this thrifty round work.
Beautifully done by the side of Asteria back here, and that was pretty interesting to say the least. And was that a thrifty?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's basically a Yahoo moment coming in from Asteria right there. And look at this, was able to utilize the skills from Muffin Loop before you know, before being taken down by Gwen. But Gwen, though, we did see that it took some amount of time before taking down Muffin Loop into the process. But still, the crossfires from Casper and Britzy managed to basically go it all for a match point. So them being at A, what do you feel about this, Key?
I think that as long as they can clear the corners, they're fine, because they still have the big guns here, except for Krollo. So they're going to struggle a little bit with his jet, but as long as someone else goes in first and maybe they go for a trade, Krollo can immediately get a gun. If not, she can get the Blade Storm as well from this orb, and Muffin Loop finds them, flashes them, but Krollo just takes the orb anyway. There's a Gravity Well coming out already, trying to delay the push. Krollo using that smoke There's the Rolling Thunder getting used as well. Britzy gets taken down, and it looks like they stunned Krollo for a little bit there, but Muffin Loop is also stunned, so she's going to be stuck on that site in the corner. And Casper trying to look for kills here. She knows where Krollo is, but this Cosmic Divide is making it difficult for them to mount their defense. Hisoka finds Shrek, gets the head, goes back onto the site with the rest of her teammates. It's 3v5 right now. Chase U takes Meow 16k down, and Muffin Loop is going to be the last member remaining. 1v4 for her.
But they know that Muffin Loop is on screens here, so utilities can be thrown out at any time. She is trying her best to isolate the fights, but it can only go so far. So maybe this could be another round for Big Scythe, but a breathing room. But you know what? I'm gonna jinx it. Uses the flash as well, so she knows she's at 8 back. Very nice. But where's the peak coming in? But Muffin Loop still takes the 4K, but no time. But still was able to bring out the best in towards this round.
That's definitely what you want, right? Because you're in match point. So every damage that you could do to Big Scythe's economy is going to count. So as long as they don't have guns for the next round, that's going to be really big for them. 1v4 and she takes 3 down. Muffin Loop in this position, yeah, takes 1 down and he gets a triple after this. So I think that's a little bit of sloppy play for Big Scythe there. Really being careless here. And look at Crescents getting caught by surprise here. I don't think she expected Muffin Loop to push forward at that point.
And here, again, match point uses a potential... actually, yes, a flash. I was about to say fake, but then she kind of pushed through with the flash, and that is information. So, right now, Trailblazer to spot out people from mid. And notice how Asteria just rotates from heaven here. And no casualties just yet. Maybe they can wait for at least 50 seconds to go and commit a site for the side of Big, but let's see.
Yeah, they won a pretty broken buys. It looks like a round 2 here. Hisoka takes Britzy down though, and these sheriffs, I wouldn't count them out still, right? We saw Asteria win 50 round before, but as I say that, Yamori takes Muffin Loop out. Shrey gets taken on as well, and it's starting to look good for Big Scythe. If they can take Casper down without any casualties, she gets taken down, and it's all down to Meow 16k with a sheriff in her hands. 1v5. Do you think she can pull off some magic here?
I don't think so, because better weaponry still and numbers advantage. This could be a potential. Maybe she can take at least 1, especially now that she picked up a Spectre. But she needs to create a lot of angle plays here. And it's just being shut down by Chaser here. And that's going to be a flawless round by, of course, Secret Lab, and of course by Big Scythe as well.
Yeah, you need those flawless rounds because you lost too many members that previous round, which is why the economy was hurting right now. Look at those 2 Spectres on Big. They really can't afford to lose a round anymore, which means that if they want to go to this next round, they probably need to buy up on those, upgrade those Spectres into bigger guns. And look at this here. They're not messing around right now. Meow 16k with the operator in her hands, the rest of her team with full rifles. I think this is where Asteria finally closes this map out.
Depends. And right now, here, let's see if the peek is gonna work out. Taking a jiggle peek, no, going to miss the shot, but still uses the paint shells to delay any push. But Crescents is near the area. Let's see if another peek, it's going to miss a shot, another one for Meow 16k. But let's see how the team responds to this. Casper in towards smoke, sees out Gwen and takes her body down.
And Asteria starting to find these kills, but Hisoka makes it even, takes down Muffin Loop, 12-8 right now. The showstopper, not sure if it finds anything. No, it's gonna go wide, and Meow 16k doesn't find anything. Oh, actually peeks away, the timing there. Gwen gets res. Crescents might just creep up onto Meow, and it looks like Big Scythe have found their opening. Crescents has switched to an operator, but she's looking the wrong way too, and Casper takes her down. They're falling into B-Star right now. Big Scythe are getting the spike down, 3v3 for them. There's a gravity wall being used. Stops the spike plant. It's going to be a trade though, but it looks like Asteria are finally going to put the nail in the coffin, and it's going to be their series. They knock Big Scythe out of the tournament.
Definitely, and congratulations once again to VLT Asteria over here. And really was a nice play. But to be fair, though, despite all of the criterias or all of the pointers that was heading out for a steer against Big Scythe, Big Scythe really showed a good fight. It was a close one, 7-12, really not bad for them. And GGWP to Big Scythe here, but. Again, congratulations to both sides of the teams, but Asteria is going to be the one to move forward into our brackets.
Yeah, and definitely expected more from them. And we are going to break this down after a quick break. Between the two series, I really felt that Big Scythe kind of like had a chance to actually come back. But as we've seen, Asteria, they're actually very, very strong, and their execution is so much clearer on the Big Sides.
So we'll be back after a quick break, so don't go away.
Asteria going forward and heading into the next round of the lower bracket and taking a very, very clean victory up against Big Scythe. We've got the winner joining us here on the desk, of course, interviewing right now. We have none other than Shrey, who's hanging out with us for the interview. So Shrey, congratulations. How are you feeling after that win?
Feeling wonderful, actually. We came in well prepared, but I guess after yesterday's blowout, we did have a bit of a struggle. But I'm glad that we bounced back and we made it through. So yeah, I mean, we're feeling really great and pumped up, and this win was exactly what we needed to push us forward.
You seem to be a team that's like absolutely great at picking up the morale when you need to, and I think a lot of the lingering questions in people's minds are like, first and foremost, what the hell do you guys say on your tactical timeouts that you are absolutely able to turn games around? Just for everybody who's wanting to know what happens in that.
Mostly it's us just being super hyped up, pumping each other up, and that's mostly what it is. Surprisingly, these timeouts give us a time to, I would just say give us, a time to reset our brains and just give us a breather, because some of us may get very hyped or in the moment. So being Valorant, it's such an intense game, so you sometimes would need a breather once in a while. So yeah, that's just pretty much what we do. We breathe, we talk it out, and then we get back on track.
And it absolutely just goes to show that it works for you guys. And going forward into the tournament, do you have a couple of questions to ask you? How do you feel like you're now dropping to the lower bracket, and then you have to make a deep run all the way to the very end of it? It's like a long road ahead of you guys. What's the mentality like for you guys? Just what is the feeling like that you have to claw your way into that lower bracket final before you even get a chance yet again?
I mean, for now, we're just keeping our, mentality simple. We're gonna play one match at a time, and we're gonna win one match at a time. That's exactly what we want to go with. We don't really care what's ahead, but what's for us tomorrow, that's what really matters. And, the next upcoming match for us, that's going to be our main focus for the next coming week. And then after that, we don't really care about anything, because we have to kind of tunnel vision. If we think way too ahead of ourselves, we might actually lose track of what the real goal is. So taking it step by step is definitely the way to go for us.
All right, one last question before I let you go and enjoy your victory. What do you think it would mean for you guys, especially coming from like the only South Asian team to be coming in here to win the entire FSL Elite?
I mean, it would be setting a mark for every girl out there who hasn't had a chance to represent their country or their region. So we're there to showcase for them, and we're going to make sure that we show to the world that we're no less. So, yeah.
An absolute pleasure to have you here on the desk. We're going to go let you enjoy that victory. Congratulations again, and good luck in your games in the upcoming days.
Thank you so much. And yeah, this was fun.
All right, well, you heard it yourself from none other than Shrey herself, the shredder of none other than Asteria. And good luck to them in the upcoming. Now, we're going to be bringing everybody back onto this panel right here. You're joining us again on VCT Game Changer Southeast Asia Series. I'm joined by Jace and Quack. So, boys, how are you guys feeling today? An absolutely great game. It was closer than we would have expected. Game number one almost went the way of Big Scythe there, just falling short at the very end, but eventually Asteria pulled through 2-0. Your thoughts, Quack, since you weren't necessarily here for the previous series? I'll start it off with you.